On this episode of DC On Screen, Joker's final box office numbers, the new Matt Reeves Batmobile and why they might be skewing closer to the 1966 Batman series, plus our JSA Black Adam pitches, and then we get real deep on DCCW shows. Believe it or not, that's nowhere near everything we talk about. Also, Jason's not here this week, but don't worry, I called in some backup in triplicate. All that right after these words from our mystery sponsor.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
1, 2, 3.
That sounded totally in sync.
It looks so ugly on the waveform.
I don't care.
I know.
It's easier than counting down with 4 people with different delays. Like, I've tried that the first time. Didn't go well for my brain.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't. It
was your idea.
Quick Track is going to be everything. Yeah, it was. Actually, it was Jason's. But no.
Well, screw that guy. He's not here.
Exactly.
I know.
He's dead.
You're
apparently.
the captain now, Dave.
It's a pandemic.
I was always the captain, buddy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Are you? Are you, though?
No.
Well, he introduces Jason, so there's a hierarchy there. He's going to hear this, isn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of like the court announcer introduces the king, you know? A hierarchy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Someone has to be the jester. That's fair.
Well, now I don't even want to do the show. How about that?
Welcome to DC On Screen. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just do it on our own without you. It's fine. We'll get there.
Forever.
Oh,
this
God.
is the new show. You guys talking about how I'm a piece of shit.
I would never.
All right.
I would.
All right. I'm going to... Shut up, Brent.
I would.
I would do this weekly, just not about that.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to start the show now. Welcome into DC On Screen episode 586. I'm your host, David C. Robertson, and this is the podcast where we discuss the DC Comics multiverse on film and television, give honest opinions on projects upcoming and past, and believe that every version of a property is valid, even if we really don't want it to be. If it's been released, it is fair game. Just beware of spoilers, and welcome to the show. So, Jason's wife and kid are sick for the second week in a row, and, they're going through a rough spot. I had planned on doing a solo show, but since there wasn't a lot of news, I kind of thought, doing a solo show, it's not easy. It's not as fun for me or for the listener. I'll just put something out into the universe here, just see how it goes. I tweeted out that Jason wouldn't be around, asked for questions from listeners, and I said, hey, if any fellow podcasters want to hop on, let's do that. And our listener and friend Matthew Salvatore immediately tagged a couple folks, and now I sit with not one, not two, but 3 guest co-hosts from Fans Without Borders and Marvel Squadcast. We have Brent.
I'm missing the Black Lightning season finale for this, just for the record.
That's okay. I'm really excited that the show is over. I get excited at the end of the seasons because then it means I have more time for other things that I haven't gotten to. I'm like, yay, it's over. I'm going to enjoy it when it's gone, but yay. From Stealing Remote, we have Effie Ophelders.
Hello. Did you just call me a guest host instead of a co-host? Really? What kind of Freudian slip was that?
You're a guest host.
Yeah, now I am, apparently. But then you corrected yourself.
Yeah.
It was confusing for my identity.
It's okay. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'll get over it.
Well, as we spoke about before the show actually began, which you'll probably be able to hear on Patreon, we don't have the best healthcare here, so you're going to have to pay for your own therapy.
Oh, yeah, no, I get that. I'll make sure to go and arrange that.
And from Superhero Discussions, we have Travis Hynes.
Hey Dave, thanks for having me, and I have 10 years of free psychological healthcare, we'll say. Go Canada.
That's awesome.
How's DC Universe working out for you?
Yeah.
It's not, Brent. You know this is a sore spot for me. It's not. I would trade every bit of healthcare for DC Universe, and I know that sounds terrible, and it's very short-sighted, but I want the comic reader so bad.
Yeah.
I will keep my DC Universe.
It's probably just a little bit extra sore because you're so close, and yet you didn't get it. It's not North America. No, it's just the US. Like, I knew I wasn't going to get it launch day, so...
Mm-hmm.
Titans film in Canada, so yeah, that's an extra sore spot for me.
You could see it live. That's even better. I mean, there's less special effects in real life, but...
At least I would have known about the finale if I saw it live.
Would have known to skip it, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, after the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was fine.
All right, so I'm going to get to a couple of pieces of business here, and then we're going to...
Yeah, you go ahead. Do a show.
Yeah, we're going to record the TV portion first, and you'll hear more of Travis then. I don't know when he's dipping, but he claims he's going to dip at some point. We have a Joker giveaway for the people who have been sharing and or leaving reviews and recommendations. You guys tag us. I know we said we were going to do it at the beginning of the month here, but Jason's not around. We're going to give you another week. Just do that. Tag us. Let us know. You'll get a free Joker digital code. And to our wonderful Patreon subscribers, you're about to get a hell of a conversation. $5 a month gets you that conversation. $1 a month gets you the show ad-free. And thank you guys, patreon.com/DC on screen for those things. I do want to ask this up front. I've got a little segment that I don't know that I even talk about it or I've even named it this on the show. But in my notes, it's always called DCT, as in someone spilling some tea. I just want to know what you guys think. Jim Lee has said that he will remain DC's sole publisher and chief creative officer. What are your thoughts on that?
Why pay two people for a job one person can do?
Especially when one person does it in a shitty way, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much nailed it there, Dave.
The reason you would pay another person is that's going to take away from Jim Lee being able to do his art. He's not going to be able to draw as much, which I know he's not doing as much lately anyway, but it's just a shame to have that talent locked behind corporate board meetings.
That's true.
It is.
No, it's
that's a good point.
It's fine. It sounds like a lot of power in one corner, but it's like, yeah, it's a shame that it has to be a really great artist as well that just can't do everything.
Let me ask him why he and company wanted Ezra in the Crisis so much, and then I'll decide if I like him being the sole guy or not.
Fair enough.
Yeah, right?
Fair enough.
I keep hearing about this plan they have.
They do?
That's what I've been reading. Is Guggenheim saying they have a plan?
I thought he instantly became Brent's hero when Ezra got in the crossover, but no, I guess he has a little bit more work to do.
No. I love that he did it.
Oh, absolutely.
I just want to know, where is it going? Have we seen everywhere it's going? Okay, that's interesting. Or is there a reason he wanted Ezra to stick around? So we'll find out.
I definitely think there's a reason. They've been pushing multiverse for a while now. They're doing something, man. Jim Lee has been kind of hinting at weird stuff over the years, and I think DiDio he's always been the outspoken one that's against things. Specifically, Tom King actually doing anything to change the characters. So
he's pretty against Nightwing too. I'll say this:
oh my God.
Jim Lee has earned the opportunity that he's got right now to be that guy making the decisions.
Definitely. But at the same time, I feel like...
But
I'm not sure how big of an indication it has to be that he showed up. Like, it's a shift that Ezra showed up on TV, but at the same time, it could just remain something for the fans who are on the TV side and follow this stuff. And, I mean, the general audience going to the movie probably won't realize. Unless, of course, Grant Gustin shows up in the Flash movie, which would be a thing, but that's a little early to call.
I don't see...
Maybe.
I don't see a reality where we see Grant Gustin in the movie.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But I could imagine him doing a reference to it, like, oh no, I met another me, except he wasn't me, doing something like that.
Yeah.
And that will mean everything to the DCCW fans.
Absolutely.
And I count myself among them. I would be so excited if that happened. I would love to see Grant in the movie, but I'll take a mention.
Mm.
As I've said many times on the show before, I grew up in a world where, I was happy with Bruce Wayne mentioning Metropolis in Batman Forever. That was all I needed. Like, holy crap, they're the same thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm with you.
All right, and at this juncture, we have officially recorded the second half of the show. Travis has taken his leave, so you guys won't hear this until after the movie section. After the break, you'll hear Travis come back in, and that'll be nice.
He will be
Travis.
missed.
He will be. We switched
For
it
a
around.
while. That's better than usually when you use those words. Anyway.
Yeah, like it's not, thankfully. But you know what?
Yeah.
I really wanted Travis on the show because I know that Effie, you're not caught up on the DCCW stuff, so
Not quite.
and that's Travis's wheelhouse. And I was like, you know what? If we switch it around, we can have him. So,
Yeah.
and I think we had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
And Effie
We're just
is not
making
caught
the
up. So if you
anticipation
don't listen, I think you'll still have a good time.
Yeah.
Or if you don't watch
If you have
the
no
shows,
idea
you'll still
what
have
the
a good time.
CW is about, I'll just give you your perspective, sort of. That's wonderful. So
I
much
think it worked
teasing
out.
the second half. It's wonderful.
I know. All right.
This half is just as good, I promise.
Don't promise that. I can't deliver.
I can. I am way more drunk than I was the second half, so it's fine.
Yeah, but I'm more tired. That feels like a big promise. Well, let's find out.
Oh yeah, okay. That's
Yeah.
gonna compensate for fair.
All right. So Joker finally ended his theatrical run, and hot damn, man, it did a lot of money. This is 335.
I didn't realize it was still going. I didn't realize it was still going. I
didn't
figured
either.
we had ended, but no.
Yeah, but 335.4 million domestically. Globally, they did 1.07 billion. That is crazy.
That's a
It is like
shit
the
ton of
highest
money.
grossing R-rated movie of all time. Holy shit! I know you. I know exactly all the feelings you had, Effie, about Joker because we did a whole episode with you about the what was it that you didn't like about it again, Brent? It just wasn't your thing.
Joker. What movie was that? I saw Arthur Fleck.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
No,
that's
he was
fair.
Joker at the end. When he actually becomes Joker, he's a good Joker. I wouldn't be upset at seeing him again.
Even then, I would disagree. It is even the character. 'Cause
But
I had a conversation with a friend yesterday because she saw the movie yesterday. So, but I still think even then he is more angry and sad than actually chaotic evil in D&D terms. So it's not a Joker. It's just someone in clown makeup.
I mean, this is where I piss off people. But at one point, Todd Phillips basically said he knew that he wanted to make this kind of movie, and he knew without the Joker's skin on it, it wouldn't happen.
Exactly.
And it felt that way.
And it feels like that.
I don't begrudge people who like the movie. I don't. It just, I will probably never watch it again. I saw it once. I felt like I need to see it one. I mean, I podcast about this stuff. I needed to have seen it one time, and that's what I did. So I get the references. I understand what people are saying about it. I won't be upset if we see Joaquin Phoenix's Joker again, because basically I thought he played a good Joker in a movie that I didn't like, and it's not the first time I thought an actor was good in a role, but I just thought the movie itself wasn't up to par, if you will. It didn't work for me, but you know what? It did ridiculously amazing at the box office.
Yeah.
I don't know what the multiplier is on that times the budget. 15, 16, 17 times, whatever that is. It's insane how much money that this movie made. And at this point, I'm just surprised we have not heard of something else that we can track back to this. Some other movie being greenlit that we can track back to the success that Joker was.
Yeah, there's not another Black Label. There's not a sequel. I think that sort of might mean that they're that they're aiming for a sequel, but they just can't get Phoenix on board or Phillips. But it did so well, and I just can't help but feel like, yeah, it's good, but it's very Oscar baity. It's very much not as deep as it attempts or pretends to be, and that just sort of frustrates me. But I've seen it twice, and I'll probably revisit it sometime. It's just not one that I get happy from watching. So like, it's not one I put up when I'm sad, like BVS.
When you pair it with Shazam and Birds of Prey, there's several low-budget movies, and if they put out several low-budget movies and one of them hits big and the other ones break even or turn a small profit, I mean, that's not a bad business strategy.
Absolutely not. Was that on your show where it was like, you can see it as one huge budget movie?
We did talk about that, yes. We did talk about that.
Yeah, no, okay, I figured.
It was in response to an article from
I'm trying to keep all the 6
Mark
hosts of your network apart, and it's a struggle sometimes.
Fair enough. I think you're not the
It's not like your voices are that similar, but still.
Well, would it help if I said it's all subjective?
Oh, yeah, no, that means you're from Fans Without Borders, and I know, yeah, no, it's fine. That narrows it down quite a bit.
You know what sucks is that we used to talk about how subjective film was, and then you guys started saying hashtag it's all subjective, and now I feel like every time I say something's all subjective that I'm somehow stealing from you guys.
Yeah, you're just referential.
For the record, my thing was always, it's okay to like them all. As in, it's okay to like both DC and Marvel. It's not gonna
but you have both hashtags.
But
you're too popular for your own good.
Ray loves his all subjective tagline, and so you are not stealing from me, my friend. It is all from him.
Oh, I'm not stealing from either of you. I don't like the perception. I even feel that way myself.
I have these same ideas too, like independently.
Yeah, it's just most people say, well, yeah, like that's your opinion. But it's just, if you need help knowing what show I'm from, that's the one I'm from.
Yeah, fair enough. That's like your opinion.
And you know what? Like, I had stopped listening to fans because I was trying desperately to stay away from Skywalker spoilers.
Oh, yeah. No, you gotta do that.
I successfully stayed away from Skywalker spoilers until last week. And then I got spoiled on a major thing, and I was like, you know what? I don't care about anything else that happens in that movie. I'll still see it.
Was it us?
Have you not seen it yet? What?
I haven't seen it.
It's March.
Was it? Well, okay, one, that's on you, but you're owning that.
I know.
It's
on me. I just haven't had.
He's not complaining.
Did we say something spoilery on Okay,
no.
It's like I don't remember talking about that for a couple weeks now. But.
You did, but I got spoiled. Someone randomly said something on Twitter about it, and I wasn't. It was on me.
It's amazing that you've managed this long.
It's on you.
Sure. I wasn't mad when it happened. I was just like, I was actually kind of relieved. I was like, oh, okay, well, at least I can listen to Fans Without Borders again.
Now I'm curious what you were spoiled on, but
I'll tell you off air, just in case there's another idiot like me who sat around.
You never know.
3 months and didn't watch the thing. I can't be mad at the people on Twitter who randomly I mean, it was DC News stuff, but then they were like, "This is just like in blah," and I'm like, "Oh, well, shit."
Okay.
Anyway, what's interesting about Joker is it sets a precedent, and it's for comic book movies specifically, and it's not a. If you look back at the history of film, you'll see the same precedent was set with war movies. It was set with westerns when those were really popular. Cop movies when those were really popular. Filmmakers will go, what is popular right now, and how can I tell the story I want to tell with the skin of this genre on it?
Yeah,
and
of course.
I don't blame Todd Phillips. Jason and I have talked about this before. Like, this is the best way to get an original idea out there now, because people don't go see original movies. They don't see original ideas. They go, whenever a comic book movie is announced, people will say, well, Hollywood's run out of original ideas. And the second they put out an original idea, those same assholes will say, well, I wasn't asking for that. Was anybody asking for that?
And then
those movies fail at the box office.
It was a good business move. for him. It was a good, clearly, I mean, look at it. Who can deny the overwhelming objective success that this movie had?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just financially, $1 billion on an R-rated movie, you're doing good.
And here's why I don't complain about it, because whether or not, they intended it or wanted it to be a comic book movie at the beginning, now that it exists as a comic book movie, it is now part of DC's multiverse.
Yeah.
So they could they could bring back Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in a comic, in a panel, anywhere they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, can't argue with that.
That was an awkward silence.
It sounds like you guys want to, but just can't. I enjoyed the movie. I probably won't watch it again for another 3 years. I might throw it on in the background someday.
Yeah.
It was not a movie that I made sure I pre-ordered or anything.
I think I did. No, wait, I got it from my little brother for Christmas. But then it arrived way after Christmas because it was a pre-order. Anyway.
All right, let's get to more sombering domestic and international totals. Birds of Prey. Sobering, it's both, I guess.
Yeah, it's both.
82.5 million domestically, 113 international. We got a worldwide of 195.7 million. This is a bummer because the movie is.
It deserves so much better.
Agreed.
I liked it so much more than Joker.
I like this more than Suicide Squad.
Yes,
why isn't this on that level? It's R-rated, but aside from that, it should be as hyped in a sense.
Yeah.
Then it comes down to, okay, there's a factor of there's no Joker. So, but otherwise, it's still very much Harley. It's okay. There's no Will Smith. But it's there's so many factors, but still. It frustrates me to no end that this is what it's doing, and it's just sad because it's not a bad movie. It's pretty damn great. I'm pretty sure I put it fairly damn high on my DCU rankings shit. So it's on Letterboxd. You can stalk me and then get mad at me on Twitter. Anyway,
no, it's a good movie. It's well made. It's well acted.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint with the movie is basically the name Cassie Cain. Give that any other name.
Yep.
To be fair, nobody talks about that character anymore if their name is anything else. The movie, in my opinion, deserved to do so much better than 195 at this point. On a $84 million budget, I think it is. It's not going to lose money. It's not a flop.
Not quite.
But it's not a success either. Not by itself.
No.
It's just not. Congratulations, you broke even. I mean,
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. That night I saw it, I thought potentially it could hit $500 million. I really thought that 500 million was possible. I was that impressed by what I had seen, and clearly I was way off.
I think everybody was. Is there any? Have you guys wrapped your head around this? I can't figure out what the real problem is, because you could say it's, not, the public is not that interested in Harley Quinn, but every time, and yes, this is anecdotal, but every time I say something to somebody else and say, hey man, you should go check out Harley Quinn. Oh, is that a thing? But I see marketing everywhere for it. So I'm not sure where the disconnect is.
There's not one smoking gun. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Yes.
Fair enough.
The marketing obviously hurt because they didn't get butts in the seats. The rating probably did hurt. Did it hurt to the point where if you make it PG-13, it's suddenly doubled? No, but it may have made another 20 to 30 million if you made it PG-13, which 20 to 30 million on Joker numbers is nothing, but on Birds of Prey that's very significant.
That would have helped.
It's so much little stuff. Yeah. And for whatever reason, the people who did see it didn't go back 3, 4, and 5 times. I saw it twice, but how many people have really went and saw it 3, 4, 5 times the way they obviously did, again, with a movie like Joker? It's just so many little things. And yes, I'm going to say it, I think the name hurts it.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that the name did cost it people, that people just see that name, think that sounds absurd, I'm going to go see something else. I truly believe that. And if they just straight up done what the comic book is, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, that tells people what it is. People try and get so freaking cute with their names. And it's like, no, just call it what it is. It's Joker. It's Shazam. It's Wonder Woman. Just call it what it is.
I get that, but at the same time, I love the original title. I'm like, yeah, it's sort of artsy, but it's very fun. It's very apt. It's just not marketing wise very wise to like throw that at a general audience and expect them to know who is in it and what it is about. So yeah, I see your point, but at the same time, I don't mind it one bit, because if I get like a DVD that says Harley Quinn Birds of Prey on it, I'm gonna be slightly disappointed. Just sort of in my gut, I'm like, oh.
Well, everybody likes to say that, you know, Harley Quinn's name is in the title. Everybody knows if they read the title, Harley Quinn. Yeah, but it's not memorable. The title is memorable to people like us who follow this stuff. It wasn't memorable to the general audience. They might have remembered Birds of Prey. And unless they were one of like the 1.5 million people that watch Arrow every week, it meant nothing to them.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't seen a trailer, you don't even know that Harley's in it. So it's difficult. And even if you do, some general audience members probably don't realize that that's her. So like, let's not even get into those people.
But again, all that aside, it was a fun movie. It was funny. It was good. The acting was well done. The action was excellent. And it's just a damn shame that more people didn't see it. For whatever the reason was, it's a shame that more people didn't see it.
And I'm hoping that they can course correct on the marketing for the home release. And that they're not going to knee-jerk react and just say, like, oh, we're just going to cancel every, possible thing with any of these characters in the future. Obviously, Harley Quinn is still going to be in the Suicide Squad, but they were already, dick deep in filming before the movie came out. So
right, you have to ask, would she still be in it if they were starting production on that in the next 3 months? Would she still be in it? I think that question is viable.
Yeah, I would wonder.
That's fair,
honestly. Well, I think James Gunn's. I'm curious. I wonder if James Gunn even wanted her in the film in the first place.
Yeah.
And if DC was like, no, you have to have her.
I mean, they offered him his choice of movies, including Superman, and he chose Suicide Squad. I kind of feel like they weren't.
He knew he was getting into.
I mean,
yeah, he should have known.
Yeah, I think he probably. My guess is that even if DC said you have to have her, his response would be like, well, great, why wouldn't I want her? I don't have any reason. Like he never said that. I haven't seen an interview. I just can't imagine he wouldn't have, because coming out of Suicide Squad, so many people thought she was this big breakout character. And just looking at Margot Robbie's career, so many people thought, look at her, she's this big star, she's on the rise, she's this huge draw. Is she? I don't know, but I'm certainly questioning that now. So the characters I'm concerned for are Black Canary and Huntress. I really enjoyed both of these characters a lot, and I really want to see more of them.
I think the only thing I know for certain is if they make another movie out of this, if they decide to spin these characters off, it's going to be called Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. They'll put Batgirl in that shit.
Oh my god! Okay, frankly, yes, that's what it should have been. I don't necessarily think a Harley Quinn movie was the best way to introduce the Birds of Prey. Right. In hindsight, I think creatively, entertainment-wise, they pulled it off. But I don't think it was the best way. Batgirl and the Birds of Prey has Bat in it. You make this with a Batgirl that they've introduced in a Batman movie, so it's her second appearance, bringing in the others, kind of like what they did with her. I think that immediately makes more money. Immediately.
Absolutely.
Or, I mean, to be honest, they could have done Batgirl and the Birds of Prey without introducing her in anything. Like, they really could have. Yeah. You set up a thing where she's like,
I mean,
basically doing what Harley does. And says like,
you got the Bat logo. That's going to put people in the seats.
That's all you need. But, I really do. I support all these people being able to make the movies they want to make. And I'm just sorry that whatever, all these different little, cuts by 1,000, whatever, death by 1,000 cuts. I'm sorry that happened to this film.
Cuts by 1,000 deaths.
Yes, that too. That sounds like an emo album. Is it 2004?
It might be.
Somewhere. Yeah. Anyway,
time zones
let's
are
move
weird
over
like that.
Yeah. Let's move over to a movie that still has potential to make money.
Until now.
Until now. The freaking
so
Batman.
Far, oh my god. This
Matt
is the
Reeves,
biggie.
Matt Reeves revealed that Batmobile. I've seen
it's a Batmobile, yeah.
I've seen drastic responses to this thing. What do you think, Brent?
I like it. I'm not in love, but I like it. I want to see it in motion. I want to actually see what they do with it before I'm willing to, say I'm in love with it. But I like it a lot. I'm an easy mark, though. I've liked all the Batmobiles, and I literally mean all of them. I cannot think of a single Batmobile from any of these movies that I have not appreciated on some level. Yeah, sure, I like some more than others. Batman 89 is still my favorite Batmobile, but that doesn't mean I don't also like the Tumbler, the Ben Affleck Batmobile, or, the Schumacher ones. I like them. So for me, I was never going to not like it. Let's be real. I do like, we just got 2 basically tank Batmobiles, right? The Tumbler, which was full on tank, and Batflex, which is what? Mostly tank, a little bit of car into it. This is a car again. Yeah. I am glad that we're back at a car, but after a couple cars, I'll be glad for a tank. So that's just the cycle of it.
Fair enough.
Effie?
I'm kind of on the same page. I'm not immediately in love, but that's also because I grew up on the Tumbler, basically. So for me, this is okay. It's very sleek. It's a car again. It has those sort of wings at the end, and it looks cool. But it's also like it takes some getting used to, because I was really into the Affleck Batmobile, because that's just like a nice blend of them. Because it's still sleek. It's thin. It's low. It's not as bulky as the Tumbler. But this is really just a car, so to me it immediately feels like, oh wow, we're back to Adam West, except it's not red. But I'm just like, yeah, okay, I can definitely appreciate all of them, but it's like an updated version of the Burton era Batmobiles that are like sort of sleek and sort of weirdly designed because it's comics, but like it makes it fit, and I enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I really loved it, and I'm not like over the moon, but what I really love about it is well, first of all, it looks like the Batmobile from the 80s comics.
Yeah.
But it also has these little design touches that do harken back to the 66 Batmobile, which I think at this point is my favorite Batmobile, just as far as aesthetics are concerned. I like the old retro look. So they've got a couple of touches there that makes it feel like that a bit to me, and I love that I love the brake lights under the fins, because that reminds me of Batman the Animated Series. I'm not crazy about the engine being so exposed.
That's weird. Yeah, you had a question about that, right?
I did. Gerald Edwards on Twitter says, I like it, not picky when it comes to Batmobiles, but I hope the engine won't be exposed when it's in action. That's definitely a vulnerable spot that could brick the car if damaged. And I agree with that.
Yeah, it's weird, but it seems to function as if it's just going to have a huge-ass flamethrower at the end. Because in the third picture, there's a hole there that just looks like it's going to burst out.
Absolutely.
At you. But still, if you sort of fire at the flamethrower, you're going to hit something that's kind of useful to the car.
Yeah, and it might not actually be the engine.
That's fair.
There's something about the cowl and now this car and some statements that I'm going to go over in a second that make me really feel like we're getting an updated Batman 66 in a lot of ways.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm excited.
I didn't expect to see that, but like it's interesting.
Well, if you kind of modernize that and make it more noir and grit it up, that could be a really fun take. And
oh, absolutely. I could see that, like, without it being the pure comedy, it would definitely work to just have him as a detective Batman working with the police department, and just that weird sort of dynamic, like, that could work.
Yeah, and there's... I don't want to get too deep into it, but I've been tooling around with a Batman story, and if I release it, I'll probably release it in like a webcomic form. Like I can't imagine
we are going to talk about this off air.
Absolutely,
definitely.
Absolutely. But it's definitely not this, but it is in the vein of keeping it dark, but also trailing off of 66 and that general feeling. So
cool.
Yeah, I've got a take, but I'm excited to see this for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Does anyone have a clue what like the front of like the windshield, like what is that? Just really good air conditioning, those vents in front of the on the first picture?
I imagine it would be to keep the engine. That's what makes me, one of the things that makes me think that the engine might not be the engine in the back. It might be something like the parachutes, or like you said, like the rocket exhaust. Just because you would think, like, if they had those huge grates on the front, it would be to cool an overheating and souped up engine.
That's a more technical answer than I had expected.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, people know things about cars? That's not me.
It's like, damn it, my radiator keeps overheating. Alfred! Yeah, I'm excited. Jeffrey Wright tweeted about this Batmobile. That shit. Wait till you hear it. And like had the emoji of like the squirt, you know?
Yeah. Oh my god, that's amazing. I haven't seen that with the emoji in it. Oh my god.
Like, oh, gross, man. I don't want to know that the Batmobile's sound is making you wet, Jeffrey.
I mean, I get it, but like, don't say it out loud.
By the way, the Way of the Lost live stream posted a picture of Jeffrey Wright with his Jim Gordon mustache, and yeah, it's really interesting because it looks like hair
mustache
growing out of Jeffrey Wright's face,
definitely
just above his upper lip. I think it's a really neat take.
What?
That's right.
That reek of, I feel like I have to acknowledge this, but I just don't care.
Yep.
After all these takes of like mustaches on the bottom of the chin, I feel like it's a good choice to go like upper lip. That's like revolutionary. I mean, if Gotham had thought of that like earlier, would have been a different show.
No, you know what it reeks of? It reeks of, my God, how many people am I going to see on Twitter, and how many headlines am I going to see about this stupid mustache? It's a mustache, guys.
Like, it's more interesting that he seems to be bald, right? Like, that's a take.
It does.
That's more of a take than him having a mustache, because, I mean, we were kind of expecting that.
You know what? I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed. Like, I don't mind the mustache, but I just like how Jeffrey Wright usually looks with the beard.
That's fair. Yeah. Him clean shaven with the rest of his face,
No. If they had done that, people would be bitching and moaning because the mustache is an iconic part of Commissioner Gordon's look.
People will be bitching and moaning.
I'm with you in
way.
that. I don't. Yes, he has a mustache. Great. I don't have any thoughts about his mustache. There it is. Perfect. It exists. That's what I would prefer. But
he can grow it. Good job.
I mean, I do think though that people would just, oh my god, it'd be like Mustache Gate or something. It'd be horrible.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever be Mustache Gate again. Like, even if it involves a mustache, you have to find a new name. It's not comparable. It's just not on the same level.
I don't think the general audience would care about if the mustache was, made into a beard. I don't think the general audience will care that he's an ethnic man instead of an old white guy. I just don't think anybody would care. The fans would care, or certain fans would care, and we should stop listening to those people.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a time and place to listen to the fans, and hey, we're going to do this. It changes nothing about the story. It doesn't hurt anything. Let's make the fans be like, throw this one to the fans. But there are other things where it's like, it should just be like, well, screw the fans, because in this case, they're just wrong. In this case, his race being one of those.
Right. But you know what? Gordon didn't have a mustache in 66.
And nor did he have one in most of the Gotham show. But if you ask somebody, what does Commissioner Gordon look like? They're going to include the mustache.
Yeah. That's fair. That is fair. Anyway, Jeffrey Wright, speaking of him, was doing an interview, and he says, I was a bit of a fan of Batman comics and comics generally growing up, but I was a lunatic Adam West Batman fan, and Matt Reeves, who was directing the movie, was as well, and we were talking about it, and he said, in my mind, that wasn't camp. Now, this is not to say that we're doing an Adam West Batman in any respect. I think they are. But that for me was my early dive into the Batman cosmos. Matt and I agree it wasn't camp for us. It was deadly serious for an 8-year-old. Deadly serious with the most tricked out heroic technology and bells and whistles this side of James Bond. If you look back at it within context, it was as Batman as anything. The pastel tones, harken back to the original Bob Kane, Bill Finger stuff. That was my early and much appreciated introduction into Gotham. I think they are doing some version of it. I really do.
They must be influenced by it. If that's your first encounter with the entire mythos, you have to be influenced by it to some capacity.
And you know he's been coached, because at this point they've released enough of the cowl. You can see the markings on the cowl, the stitching. You know that it's kind of going into an Adam West territory. You see the car, you know it's going into an Adam West territory. I'm not saying they're wrong for doing it. I'm all on board, but you know that they're saying, look, the fans are going to start freaking out because they think that we're going back to camp.
And that I doubt, but I do enjoy just the simple, the aesthetic touches taken from the 60s. That's very inventive. That's just okay, going with that and updating it to make it modern and dark as well. That's interesting. That's a really interesting idea, and I keep looking at these pictures, and I'm like, to be honest, I was more interested in the background shots of the suit than I was the Batmobile. So I keep looking at is that a better shot of the suit? Because I want a suit picture.
I definitely zoomed in on that real fast too, and then I'm like, there's a car in this picture I should actually look at.
Oh wait, that must be an important car.
So we've also got Charlie and Max Carver has been cast in, quote, sizable roles for the Batman, and they're twins. They're identical twins. So they've been in Teen Wolf, The Leftovers, Desperate Housewives. I don't know, Trigger twins, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Min and Max. I would love if we got Min and Max.
Oh, this could be.
I kind of like the Tweedledum and Tweedledee idea.
That would be just an interesting cameo, yeah.
I feel like
what are the dolls that in Dark Knight Returns?
The dolls
that Joker uses the
I don't weird ass.
Yeah, those two that gas the entire audience. Those have names, I guess, but I don't recall them. So whoops.
I don't either.
I've written essays on this book, but never mind.
We're allowed to forget things.
Yeah.
We're not Jeff
Johns. Min and Max were the ones who they sing a song in the Batman and Harley animated movie, right?
We don't like to talk about that.
I have seriously still not seen that movie just because.
I mean, it wasn't very good, but
no,
so
we remember them. We remember them fondly from the two-parter Two-Face, and we don't bring up that other thing.
Great, now I know what question to ask for next time.
I mean, you should know, our review of Batman and Harley Quinn is just a screen grab of Harley giving the finger on stage.
That sounds about right.
Nice.
All right, the Batman's also added Gil Perez-Abraham in a secret role. And this is a person who was on Pose and Orange is the New Black, and he's going to be in The Walking Dead World Beyond, which I actually know you're not going to watch, Brent.
That's true. I do not plan on watching it.
I got to that episode where you said that.
I have a friend who loves The Walking Dead, and she is also not into the spin-off. So I'm curious what she'll think of this one, because the what was it?
Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead. Yeah, no, she didn't like that.
No one did. I mean, I'm sure someone did.
I loved the comic. I fell off of the show. And that's sad because they're doing some, even right now in the show, the story arc they're doing was really cool in the comic, but it just, this year at the mid-season finale, I'm sad because I remember how excited I was when the show started, and I just don't care anymore.
That's a shame. That's harsh.
All right, so we've got a couple of similar questions. Anthony, Brooklyn Batman over on Twitter says, what do you think WB will do at SDCC for the Batman, assuming they go and it's not canceled?
Let's hope it's not canceled.
Yeah.
I enjoy SDCC. That's like my birthday before it's my birthday.
Right. Of course, to put that in perspective, you said 2 episodes of DC on screen in a week was Christmas, so...
Yeah, but
it's
there's
not
a difference
easy.
between
It's not
Christmas,
hard to please you.
Christmas is fairly low key in this country because we have an extra Santa. It's a difficult thing to explain, but Christmas is not my birthday. If I only got 2 episodes for my birthday, I'd be disappointed in you.
If not for SEO, I would totally call this episode an extra Santa.
I feel like extra Santa should mean Christmas is huge over there.
I would think.
Yeah, in a sense, but it's not called Christmas because Christmas is the 25th, and this is like a Saint Nick, of course, on the 5th. So it's separate but equal. I don't know. Anyway,
separate but equal. Oh my god.
No, it's not equal. That's kind of the problem.
I'm just gonna say I used that phrase at a PTA meeting once, and man, did I get an ass chewing later.
That's great. That's
and
lovely.
I'm like, well,
I would be one to do that as well.
That make that apply.
Oh my god.
That's funny. I would hope a trailer would be forthcoming at SDCC. I don't particularly ever really enjoy panels. I just don't care.
Watch them fully. It's just not worth the entire amount of time because it takes a while to get going, and you never get anything that's not pre-approved. So it's not that interesting. It's just sort of press release, but visual.
Yeah. See, but I'm gonna disagree with you guys on this one. I like it when they're like, hey, we're going to bring out the cast. Here's your Batman. Here's your Commissioner Gordon. Here's so-and-so. They're playing this character, and we haven't even announced it yet. Here's that character we haven't even announced yet. I like that kind of thing.
That's different.
But that's the panels.
Yeah, as soon as they're... Sure. But if they're announcing new characters, then we're at a level where, okay, they can say some more than we knew, and there's always some more than we knew, but it's often just... Well, you've known most of this if you have been paying attention outside of SDCC.
On top of it, there's often footage, and there will.
Oh yeah,
if we're talking footage and trailers, that's amazing.
Well, I mean,
but
Brooklyn Batman says, "What do we think they're going to do?" Footage. That's what I think they're going to. Full on trailer. I don't know, but they have the time for it. They definitely have the time for a teaser.
If they can manage, it just depends.
It's 20 seconds.
Sorry.
Just give me 20 seconds of Batman footage, and I'm going to call it a win for the DC panel at Hall H this year.
Yeah, if it's good enough, then by all means, if it's half a minute of a tease, who cares? If we get Batman on screen again, you've won the con. That's just doesn't take that much, to be frank.
If SDCC itself is not canceled.
Yeah, okay.
I think Warner Brothers will definitely do something for it.
Well, they did skip it last year, but they also kind of said we'll be back. And last year they didn't really have, at least for the DC side, there really wasn't at that time much to promote.
I bet they won't do that shit anymore. I mean, just Birds of Prey.
Well, it's just they're not gonna. What are they gonna do? Just bring. Last year at that time, R-rated Joker and R-rated Birds of Prey to an audience that is full of kids? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I totally get why they skipped last year. Plus, they had the whole changeover with the power structure at WB for DC and stuff. Frankly, it was a good year to skip. Now, this year, it's I don't know, because I could see them saying we're not going to have all our directors and stars go because we don't want to risk anybody getting sick. And I mean, that is on everybody's minds right now. So I mean, right now...
But even then, it's probably in their planning to just market something, so they probably would release something online. It's just sad if the entire event was indeed cancelled, which is a very realistic possibility.
Yeah.
I think if SDCC happens, they'll have somebody come out in like a contamination suit and play that damn trailer.
I just hope that trailer is online. That's what I hope, because I'm not going to be there. And I don't mind. I know some people hate this. I don't mind exclusive footage for the people who are there and the people who camped out for 3 days straight or whatever it is to get into Hall H. That doesn't bother me. Like when the first Aquaman footage came out, like they released a trailer and then they did like 5-minute thing afterwards only for the people who were there. Eventually they showed that to the rest of us, but like that kind of thing I'm fine with. I just hope, as somebody who's not going to be there but will absolutely be excited to follow the news, that I get to click on a link on YouTube and watch some Batman footage.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I hope the same thing, of course, because I have no chance of getting over there. It's a lot farther. And if I do ever have the money again, I'd probably come visit, like, Dave first, just to be nice. But it's a price for that ticket, damn it. So
just to be nice. Don't do me any favors.
I would also go to SDCC. Like that's just a fact. We would both head over there too.
I actually had a free ticket offer into the con one year, and but I couldn't go. And it wasn't a free hotel. It wasn't free airfare. Like, no, it was just the ticket to the con itself.
Just the
was going to be, which is still
but
awesome.
I imagine those are, those are expensive enough already. I think.
And hard to get. They sell out. And we tried. We just, it wasn't in the cards that year. We couldn't work it out. But I would like to go there at some point. And I'm perfectly happy to pay for my ticket. It just, it's not going to be this year, and it hasn't happened yet. I would like to before. I mean, there's on the tech circuit that I follow, there's several conferences that have been canceled due to this coronavirus crap. And there's a lot of talk of questioning is what value do they bring? And I mean, if you really think about it, Warner Brothers could release a Batman trailer online, break the internet. I mean, just look what happened with the Batmobile. Break the internet.
Oh, absolutely.
And they don't need to do the hassle and cost of the con. But I like it, so I want them to keep doing it. But man, if they didn't, and they just said we're gonna drop something online this week, I get it. I totally get it.
They could do an online exclusive panel, and just have the stars come out and answer questions from tweets.
I would like to see more of that stuff on DC Universe.
Yep,
that would be interesting. Just like behind the scenes, just while the cast is filming, just have them do something for 50 minutes. That would be cool.
I agree. All right, our good friend and co-host of this show normally, Jason Goss, wrote in. Says long-time listener, first-time write-inner.
Does he listen? Does he?
I mean, no. He does sometimes. He'll listen to a piece of it.
Do you think he'll listen to this one?
I don't know.
Who knows? He better.
I don't
Jason,
know.
I'm trying very hard for you here, Jason.
If you hear this, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I'm not going to bring it up to him. I'll just, of course he'll hear it and he'll be like, I listened. And then he won't tell me.
Just casually drop that it was way more fun than just with the two of you, and then we'll see if he listens.
I can't do that to him.
Oh, you're too good for this world.
He says at this rate, when do you expect a trailer for the Batman Hall H material potentially?
Yes. We'd hope so. Yes. I think we've said that.
You think that's an absolute?
It's not. Nothing is an absolute.
You know what?
In
No,
this world.
I don't.
Like,
what's the release date for Wonder Woman? That's before San Diego, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Then
I think so.
I see that being like to attach it to Wonder Woman, I feel like that's
a lot.
the earliest it could be, which means they'll drop it like within the week that Wonder Woman comes out. Like, I feel like that's the absolute earliest is for Wonder Woman.
They'll probably be on a Saturday, so that'll probably be July 24th for was Wonder Woman 1984. I don't even know. I can't keep it in my
head. I looked it up before the show and I forgot. Yeah.
And
yeah.
But I would still put more money on San Diego because Batman is still so far away and you don't want to take away from Wonder Woman. That's the only real caveat I have there. But they don't have any other movies between, unless I'm completely brain farting on something, there's nothing else between Wonder Woman and Batman.
That's right.
Suicide Squad.
Isn't there?
Suicide Squad.
Squad, yeah.
I was brain farting.
Oh, is it?
Well,
no,
is it?
Suicide Squad comes out after Batman.
Oh, okay. That's my bad.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. It's late. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Somewhere between Wonder Woman and San Diego. That's my answer.
Yeah, I think we'll keep getting little teases, and then the first trailer will probably be at San Diego.
Probably.
That's my guess. Jason also says, also fuck hand, foot, and mouth disease. That's what his child has.
You don't want to fuck with that stuff.
What is that? Like, is that a specific thing? Because it's a lot of areas.
When he first told me about it, I thought he said hoof and mouth disease. And I was like, are you serious? Like, how did you manage that? And then I realized, oh, they're separate things. It's like, your child is not cattle, Jason.
No, it's a thing more common to kids. And so let's just say it's a thing that parents of young children like Jason, it is a very real concern. And I mean, there's medicine for it and stuff, but I feel your pain, Jason. I mean, I get what you're doing. I'm sympathetic for it. I've got young kids myself. So I hear you. And yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. He says he wants it yeeted into the sea. See, he had our support, and now he says yeeted, and I just want to take it away. I want to take away the support. I am sorry for your kid, though.
I'm fine with that. I'm the fine generation. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm accepting of this use of the word, even if it sounds like a boomer trying to appropriate. But that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, that was harsh. Damn.
How old is Jason?
Jason is 35.
Damn.
Oh, that's not boomer level. Never mind. But to be fair, I've been called a boomer by people who are like 3 years younger. So it's mostly a meme at this point.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, it's a meme. Yeah, he says he wants it yeeted into the sea with a bomb attached, Sionis style. He brought me back with the Birds of Prey reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I got. Some stupid kid called me some 16-year-old called me a boomer, said, okay, boomer, the other day. And I was like, I am a zennial.
I just think it's dumb.
Kiss my ass.
I just think the boomer
Get
thing
your
is
facts
dumb.
straight.
But that's hilarious.
I do too. Like, I am not a boomer. Anyway, yeah. I hope the kid gets better, and his wife. I hate to hear people being sick.
Absolutely. All the best to the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is lengthy, but I thought it was really cool. A fan asked, I couldn't remember his name for a second. James Gunn, are practical effects more expensive than CGI? Because if they are not, I don't see why there's so much CGI. And this was James Gunn's response. The cost difference depends partly on what you're doing and how good the work is. Cheap practical is cheaper than cheap CGI, but cheap CGI could be cheaper than high quality practical. And you just can't do a full-size practical, say, Mothra. But for me, the problem is filmmakers often don't plan ahead. Because they don't make distinct choices and visualize up front, they do CG because it's the lazier, easier way to shoot. And they can make whatever choices they want about aesthetics, sets, shots, whatever in the edit. Many effects are better CGI. The Slither worms in Slither look better CGI than they did practical. And the people who worked on them cared about the artistry. But oftentimes it's not a choice, it's just procrastination and non-preparedness. Some of this is the fault of lazy directors, and a lot of it is the fault of studios who greenlight scripts before they're ready, and often before they're written, just to put a flag in a certain release date. So there's no time to properly prep the film. One of the things I'm proudest of with the Suicide Squad is that we are old school this way, There was no Squad movie coming out until the script was written and everyone was excited about it, and then we got greenlit with the budget and a release date. Getting greenlit off a script used to be the norm, but it's becoming increasingly rare, and I believe it's the primary reason films aren't, on average, as good as they used to be. Well, damn.
That's controversial probably, but yeah, I feel it. I get it. But it's also, yeah, like, I also, like, at the same time, I feel like people like Snyder do a lot of CG work, and I'm not sure if that's then the studio's fault or just a choice, or he seems sort of demeaning of it, like, you know, it's sometimes lazy, like, procrastination stuff, and I'm not sure if that's always the case. I think that's an overgeneralization, but it's interesting to just go that hard on, well, you know, you have to have the story finished and know what you're going to do before you get a green light, and that's,
yeah,
it sounds logical, but it's also it feels like a pretty big shot fired at studios that I assume he has worked with, because otherwise he wouldn't really know. So it's interesting. I think because he has worked with Marvel, I'm then trying to think of, okay, is that what happened before, or is that not at all what happened at Marvel? Is this like where, you know, because he's going done more, back to Marvel, of course. Though. Yeah, no, he is.
And
he's not
I don't
mad
think
at
anyone
anymore.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would argue that Marvel is meticulously planned out. Maybe not by the filmmaker making it, but by Feige.
Yeah, exactly. They have their ideas.
And Snyder uses a lot of CGI, but I don't think anyone would argue that he doesn't meticulously plan that shit out too.
No, absolutely.
And to be
it's just
fair,
that's not cheap CGI.
He didn't say all CGI is the fault of lazy directors. He's just saying some of it is. So when he's asked to compare practical versus CGI, what he's basically saying is there's a time when practical is the better option. There's a time when CGI is the better option, but that CGI is the easier option, and so people will be lazy and default to that, even if it's not necessarily the better option. At least that's how I read it. And
yeah, that's fair.
I think a lot of people might.
And there's a lot of movies out there.
I think a lot of people might question that coming from him, who did Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 1 and 2, where there's obviously a ton of CGI work in it. But he kind of answers that in this, where, like with his Mothra reference of, there are some things that just aren't going to work practical. And I would say the vast majority of those movies had to be CGI. But other movies, Suicide Squad, a bunch of grounded level characters, you can do a lot more practical.
And at the same time, I feel like Guardians 2 was, like, we'll get to this later on in the episode, but I'm not a perceptive person. But even I was like, the CG in Guardians 2, it screwed with me, because it didn't look good in some places. And it was like, this is a green screen. This is high school level green screen. What are you doing? So yeah, never mind that.
I don't think I have any instances in my mind of that. I've seen Guardians Volume 2 at least 3 times.
I don't have any.
I know you liked it a lot more than I did,
but I get the sentiment, because I have effectively said that exact criticism in other movies, and sometimes I still get bitched at for having that opinion a year and a half or 2 years later, and I'm like,
oh, you're talking about Aquaman now.
I'm sorry, bad green screen is bad green screen. Amazing, and it's not just Aquaman, for the record. I've thought that in other movies too. There's a couple shots in the X-Men movies that always get I may like the movie, but man, those individual shots drive me nuts, and I would like if once you notice the bad green screen, like at a movie level budget, it's I get it bugging you, and there's shots in Aquaman that I think look bad. There's other shots in Aquaman that look phenomenal. Does anyone ever remember me saying that? No, of course not. But
I do.
While I disagree about Guardians, I get it. If there's something in there where the green screen doesn't work for you, I get the sentiment.
It's definitely a shot. It's mostly just I have bad dreams about the shot where he says bye-bye to his stepdad, whoever the fuck, Rook, god damn it,
Michael
what's
Rooker?
His name? Yeah, but like the character.
Yondu.
Yondu, yeah.
Yondu, thank you. At like that moment when they switch helmet breather things, that's just a fucking star wallpaper plastered onto two people standing in front of a green screen, and I have nightmares about it. Anyways, that's my take on who is it again that really hates Guardians 2 on your network?
Ray.
Oh, that's Ray. Okay.
And Scott.
Shame he isn't here. He would have liked me. Anyway.
I think Ray and Scott are, isn't it, Brent?
Definitely Ray, and I'm pretty sure Scott. I guess I think Ray is maybe a little harsher towards it, but maybe it's just I hear it more because I talk to Ray more than I do Scott. Mm-hmm. But no, neither of them are fans of the movie. That
explanation explains exactly why I've never noticed it before. Because in that scene, I can't focus on the shitty green screen because I'm too busy crying my eyes out.
I know, and I did not.
You heartless bastard.
Yeah, and
I have feelings for other people. Apparently.
To be fair, that's how I am with Aquaman. That like what they're actually doing. Like if I hadn't caught my attention before the characters did, I probably never even see it.
Yeah,
and even if now, if I rewatch the movie, I'm like, oh, this is so cool, and then I see that one scene, I'm like, this is not so cool, and then they just go back to that same shot 4 or 5 more times throughout the movie, and that's why it bothers me. But yeah. I get the sentiment. Green screen, it's like special effects. They work for you or they don't. And I get it. So it's like I can't like I like Guardians, but I can't fault you if you have an issue with the special effects.
I think
it's sorry. It's
no,
just
good.
Usually I'm very easy on special effects. Like I don't notice any of that stuff. Like again with the faces that we will talk about in the second half of the episode, I don't notice de-aging usually. I'm just like, that looks like a younger person. They did a good job. That's fine. And I don't have the creepy like valley. Damn it,
uncanny valley.
Feeling, uncanny valley. Like that something's wrong here. That's what I don't usually have that. So when I do, it's like, this must really be weird. Like, something's off if I notice.
You want to see some awkward green screen? Watch some Flash of the season that XS was in it. Mm-hmm. Because there are several shots where the two of them are running side by side, and it's like, I don't even think you were on a treadmill for this. I think you were literally running in place. And the whole everything about it was just awful. Now, granted, different budget scales there, and so I'm a little more forgiving when I know they're working with a CW level budget versus hundreds of millions of dollar budget. But still, it's like if you really want to see some bad green screen, some of those shots of those two running, XS. I like the character, but man, she never figured out the running.
Yeah, I've got you beat though. I just saw something that is way worse than any of that. Arrested Development Season 5. They could not, because one of the big problems of Season 4 was that all the different characters couldn't get together, all those actors. They green screened, they would put just a random beam in the middle of the shot and have the the lighting is off on one side, they don't match. And at the same time they're doing all that, like bad dubs. You hear a dub, but it doesn't match the characters' mouths because of how they had to edit it to make it make sense. It was bad.
That sounds absolutely terrible.
It is atrocious. And so much so that you're just waiting on them to call themselves out, because that's what Arrested Development does, but they don't even do that. You're waiting for the joke about how, Dad, it doesn't even look like your mouth is moving with the words you're saying, but you're something, no. This is like some of the worst special effects that I've ever seen, and I'm an old school Who fan. I'm an old school Star Trek fan. I don't even really notice those special effects at this point. I'm just like, whatever. Aluminum can be deadly too, but like aluminum foil is something to be afeared of. But yeah, Arrested was bad. I haven't seen anything like that in quite some time.
Poor you.
Did you say poor me? Poor you?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, poor you.
Jerk.
Yeah. No, that's honestly just heartbreaking. Now I cannot make it sound unsarcastic. Never mind me.
Yeah. It's bad enough that the show had to be ruined by Jeffrey Tambor being an asshole.
I have no clue who that is, so I'm just gonna default to poor you. He
was the dad, the father on Arrested Development, like the old bald guy. And it came out that he sexually harassed a bunch of people, got fired from, what was it, Transparent, where he played a cross-dresser.
Fucking wonderful. That sounds like I hate him already.
Yeah. And then it turned, and then like I think it was Jessica Walters from Arrested said like, oh yeah, and he was verbally abusive to me and made me cry on several occasions. And then all of the idiot men on Arrested came out and tried to defend the behavior and try to make it like, well, it wasn't really as big of a deal as, and then you're just sitting there going
bad
like,
for us because he didn't harass us, so it's fine.
It wasn't good.
No, it doesn't sound good. But like,
it was
straight men playing cross-dressers when they're not. It's like already a huge. Like I am like a red flag for me. That's just not gonna fly.
And that last half of season 5 was so bad and so weirdly edited. I almost am 100% certain that whole debacle caused Netflix to just go, oh yeah, no. We've just got to finish this up and let it be done. Because doesn't help. We didn't get a goodbye from Jason Bateman's character or his son. It's just like, oh, there they go. And you see like the stair car driving away in the distance. It's so bad. It's so bad. I think, oh my God, you guys think Suicide Squad was changed.
Jeez.
Anyway.
I think Justice League was changed.
Yeah, and you know
what? I could not
what?
go an episode without complaining, sorry.
It's okay. I don't think the mustache gate of it all was the worst part of that, but
anyway. Do not quite agree, but sure. Let's move on.
That was a symptom of a much deeper problem.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Black Adam. We've got
Frank.
That's
Hi,
right.
Frank.
Anyway, Black Adam, Frank. My thing scrolled. Says The Rock has said that JSA members would be in Black Adam. It's very savvy of WB and DC to introduce new DC characters in Black Adam since The Rock is a huge draw at the box office. What members would you guys want to see in Black Adam?
Supposing that we're talking like old-timey JSA, like I want Alan Scott. Like I would also want Jay Garrick, but like that's with the Flash movie coming after this, that seems like not that likely. And Hawkman, of course, seems logical because he's probably going to be locked up in some desert eventually. Like it seems like area-wise, it's sort of you could go Egypt and Kandar and it's Kandak, whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, that's usually there's a Q in there. I mean, what do I do with that? But that's no. Alan Scott would be like the primary one I want to see whenever you talk JSA.
Mm-hmm. Hawkman is definitely the should. That's definitely who we should see. Alan Scott is
that's
definitely
the one that makes sense. That's not my wish list.
Alan Scott is definitely the right answer for who we would want to see, at least for me. Absolutely, 100% Alan Scott. Green Lantern, man. I like them all. I like all the Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, if you're going JSA, yes. Bring on the others, Johnny Thunder and Jay Garrick and Wildcat. Absolutely. Bring on these other characters. But I feel like with Hawkman, Hawkgirl, you need to get to the Hawks. And for JSA, got to be Green Lantern, Alan Scott.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The first person I put on my list was Alan Scott because it grows the universe in a way, specifically setting up possibilities with Green Lantern. Jay Garrick was second on that list because it instantly fleshes out the backstory for the Flash, and you could bring that in anywhere, like, have Ezra go like, oh wait, there's another guy. There was another guy out there apparently who was operating. And Hawkman was number 3. I also had Wildcat, but I would also like to see Dr. Fate and
that'd be a good one.
And the Spectre. Like I feel like Dr. Fate and the Spectre just need to be there because they need to establish a supernatural or more of a supernatural hold in this universe that could branch off into other franchises. Because I like to think in those terms as well. But what I'd really want to see is Wonder Woman leading the JSA.
Ooh.
That's interesting, yeah. Like, that would be very interesting, but I feel like it would overshadow a lot of the movie. Same as, like, going all out on the JSA. If you have the entire JSA there, it's a JSA movie to me. Like, I know they're going to want to focus on The Rock and Black Adam and that origin, whatever the fuck it's going to be. So, it's... whatever they do with it, it's not going to be that JSA heavy, so I feel like we got to, like, pick our favorites.
Yeah, I don't know what they're exactly going to do in Black Adam, but I wouldn't mind seeing a story that goes, over a long period of time. We could actually, they could do like a Civil War situation. Wonder Woman could be the villain of Black Adam.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, I have to ask, which Wonder Woman? Do you mean Gal Gadot?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm on board. That's freaking great idea. I want to see Wonder Woman 3, whatever it's called, be set in the present day. But there's room for something with the JSA, be that in the past or the present day. I don't care which. Yeah, more of her.
In between 1 and 2, there's plenty of time.
They've already... yes, that is a fantastic idea. I mean, I feel like they owe you money for that idea. So, I
but pay us, damn it.
Especially if you do Black Adam throughout the ages and you have you show him have various run-ins with different iterations of the JSA over the years, you could have him square off against Wonder Woman from time to time, and then also have a big climax at the end where he's fighting her in present day, which is we haven't seen Wonder Woman post Justice League in forever.
And then when Wonder Woman meets Shazam, she inherently doesn't trust him right away because she thinks he's connected to Black Adam. It's fucking brilliant. It's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen. But I want a segment. In the 80s. Maybe they could even do it have a nod to it in 1984. I want to see Dinah's mom in the JSA.
Sure, and that's why I asked which one you meant. But which for the record, I'm on board with that as well. Maybe slightly less so. I like the other idea better, but it's a great idea. Great idea.
All right. Well, on that note, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, that was all your notes. You just ran out after 3 hours or so.
Oh, for the movie side, we still have TV.
Yeah, we still have the TV, but
we're not done at all. We're just getting started. Travis, come back here.
Yeah. I hate that I'm just not going to edit any of that out.
We don't expect anything else from you.
Going to break.
That was an ad.
Yeah, there's an ad
no
coming
control
up
over.
That we have no control over. I'm sorry if it's Trump. We told Spreaker no on that. Don't know if they actually do it.
Good job.
All right. I saw a lot of people complaining about this, and I don't necessarily get it. Brandon McKnight has been upped to series regular on The Flash. He plays Chester P. Runk, a science genius who ended up opening a black hole in Star City during his live-streamed experiment. And he's kind of become sort of like, I see a lot of people complaining that he's Cisco Light and thinking that Carlos Valdez is leaving the show. And I don't think he is. Have we gotten any confirmation that he's leaving? I thought we had confirmation that he was not, in fact, leaving.
There was a lot of rumors of that last year before the end of the season as well, with him losing his powers. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure while Brent was still on DCTV, they talked about that. I kind of think that he's a perfect character. The Flash is one of the... I haven't kept up with all the DCCW shows since Crisis, but Flash is one of them, and I really enjoy him. I think that his humor is great, and I got no complaints. I've seen some people say he's Curtis Light too, Dave, so I don't get that as well. And Flash hasn't lost any of his original Team Flash members, and this is pretty late in the game considering Supergirl, Arrow, Legends, they've all lost original members. But Flash, this is we're in uncharted territory for it to get this long without losing any people.
I mean, does Arrow really count? I mean, he got to season 6 before Quentin left, and Laurel, but Katie Cassidy was still around.
Roy.
Okay. I guess I wasn't thinking of Roy as one of the original people he worked with, but no, I'll grant you that. Of course,
the listeners can't see, but I'm doing a fist pump right now. Forget
you know,
that.
But you know what? I retract that because Roy came back. Roy came back
for 2 one-episode stints before the 8th season.
Oh, so he did come back. Got it. Perfect. But your point is valid. Flash has not had a major casting shakeup. And there was all these rumors last year of Carlos leaving the show, and then everybody thought it must be happening. They're clearly writing off his powers, and then it came back, and we're like, oh, he's here to stay. You know, the Monitor just gave him his powers back. Well, that was only for 1 episode, but still, I agree with people that Chester does feel like a Carlos replacement. That said, I like Chester. I like the character, but I don't see how there's room for them both. That's my biggest hang-up about it.
I think you're pretty much right there.
I don't know. I don't really see him as a Carlos replacement, but they are sort of the same archetype. But I could see them getting on each other's nerves and a lot of fun.
Oh, that would be fun.
Those 2 characters.
But without his powers, Cisco is just the tech guy. I mean,
I wouldn't go that far either. But he's got his powers back.
No, he doesn't.
Does he not?
No.
I thought he did.
I don't know where you are in the show, but spoiler, he does not have his powers. They made it pretty clear after Crisis. He had them for the Crisis, and that was it.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I thought he had, but I guess I have. I think I'm caught up because he was out of town. I don't know, man.
Yeah, he was out of town, so Chester could come have his trial.
Yeah, which I don't. He can not have his powers. Whatever. They seem to have a lot of fun. Like the show has done a really good job of every new character they bring in. They make they make everyone work. Their chemistry is always really good.
Sure.
And even when I go I don't like initially I'm like, I don't like this version of Wells. By the time that version of Wells goes away, I'm sad that he's going away because I enjoyed him, or
yeah, but that's Wells, and
I still want Julian back
on another level.
That was an example.
I know.
I miss Julian. Is that his name? Guy from Harry Potter.
Yes. Yeah. You're thinking the right person.
Yeah. That's true.
I admit I was actually just looking up because I couldn't remember his name on the show.
Tom Felton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tom Felton. Yeah.
When I was watching The Flash, my girlfriend came in and was like, "Boo, Malfoy!" And at this time, I don't think I watched any of the Harry Potters. She has since made me sit down and watch them all.
Good, they're good movies.
All bad, but
they're not all bad.
Yeah, no, the movies are not.
I don't.
All great.
I don't miss him saying Sherlock anymore. I can promise you that.
Oh God, yeah, that was a grating running gag.
They ran that right into the ground.
They did. But no, I look forward to this guy. I like his energy. I like what he's bringing to the table, and I think they do a generally fairly good job of rounding out these characters and making them different from each other. I guess I can see a little bit of the quirkiness of Curtis in him, but he didn't scream Curtis at me until people started bringing it up, and I was like, I guess maybe, but all of these shows have different variations on the same archetypes, and
he was.
I guess it just doesn't bother me.
He was great in the last episode, the Gorilla Grodd episode. He was fantastic in. So if that's
he was
what he's
great.
going to be like, okay, yeah, sign him up.
Yeah, I'm down. I enjoy all these types of, I enjoy seeing any new character come in and seeing what they can do, and it's exciting to see that they're bringing in more series regulars, because I hate when they bring in people and you get to know them and then they just write them out. A perfect example is Samantha from Supergirl. I was so bummed out when she wasn't on the show because they built her up to be best friends with Kara, and Lena, and then all of a sudden she's gone. I'm just that sucks. We didn't even have a real explanation of what happened to her, except that she just moved
to Metropolis is all we know. And
yeah,
I mean, I'll be honest, her daughter was kind of annoying, but I thought Sam was great on the show. Rain was awesome, and she's gone.
I would pay money to find out what happened behind the scenes if that was the original plan for that show, because the way they were building it up we were certain, Jason and I both were certain Samantha was going to wind up dying, sacrificing herself, and Alex was going to adopt that kid.
Yeah, you're not the only one there on that.
No, I thought the same thing, and I'm glad it didn't happen because that kid was annoying.
Because she always
agree.
ran into danger. Because she always ran into danger.
She was whiny too. It was a whole thing. She was not a good actress.
Oh,
I'm not even going to blame the actress. I mean, she was young. She's learning. That's fine. Just the character.
That's fine, yeah.
The character was boring.
Well, there's that too. I'm not saying it's her fault. I mean, you can't help being a kid. Not everyone's Ron Howard. You can't be like a great actor right out of the gate. And even he was bad in the pilot of Andy Griffith. So, what do you want?
She was no William.
Oh, God. Don't get me started on William.
No, I like William. He's cool.
He got better, but like those initial like beats where he was like, where's the bad man? He's like pointing at his dad. I'm like, dude, you're like 15. You're like 15 years old, dude. You look so old.
I thought your dad saved your life literally like a couple months ago. He's not gonna be that bad.
All right. So also, Kayla Compton is being upped to series regular. She's been playing Allegra Garcia. I wish they'd chosen a different name. I know it comes from the comics, but I just every time they say her name, I just hear that medication commercial in my head for Allegra.
I'm thankfully unfamiliar with that.
We don't really have drug commercials here, and so I don't know. I don't really know what Allegra is.
Well, that's nice for you, but also you do miss out because you don't get to look at your partner as it's like experience life again outside may cause anal bleeding, dry mouth. There's all these horrible like litany of terrible things that happen to these people who are quote unquote living their life again.
Oh God,
that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Hair loss, heart palpitations.
Go outside. Nope. I'll stay right here in my bed. It's fine. I'll be ill forever. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Allegra.
Yeah, Allegra. I'm okay with the character. I don't hate her or anything. I like her. She's all right. She's I like how she's sort of kind of been holding Iris's feet to the fire a little bit on what she believes and the actions she takes, and I'm interested to see what's going on with her and Nash. But
that's for me when she really got interesting. Like I haven't disliked her. She doesn't bother me like the way characters in other shows do. I don't begrudge her existence on the show, but she didn't really start to get interesting until the Nash connection.
Yeah, for me it was just like I kept saying and going like, "Oh yes, you again. Oh yes, you again. Are you a thing now? Are you on the show?"
I was waiting for her to do some reporting things, like some journalistic things, but it didn't seem like that was happening. But I like what you said. I like what they're going with Nash and her. I think that's probably the best way to go for this character. I'm wondering, with her and Camilla, are these like set up to? I don't think Danielle Panabaker is going to go forever, but she is having a kid pretty soon, so
that's
I
true.
would imagine that she might take a step back from the first half of next season, even.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just be interested to see if they're going to push those two characters to the forefront to cover for her absence.
Yeah, it does feel like they've been kind of playing the angle of letting Killer Frost kind of do her own thing for a minute and let Caitlin take the back seat. So, Frost might want to get out there and do something. Go away from the show.
Yeah, they'll just have Frost want to go on a vacation, and that will solve that problem.
Yeah. Go to Metropolis, like all the characters apparently do now.
Metropolis is the CW purgatory where characters just go to disappear.
Not to disappear. There's a show coming. How can you say that?
Brett, you're going to be looking for Diggle, Green Lantern Diggle, every Superman episode.
I'm going to be seeing them on HBO instead. We'll find out.
It's like, send everyone to Metropolis. Superman and Lois need side characters to make the show interesting.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Tyler Hoechlin's too much like classic Superman. He's too bland.
Oh no,
sorry.
they're doing Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, but in a new. Yeah, no, let's hope
Whoa.
that never
Dude,
happens.
I would watch that.
That was
I
my
would
favorite
watch
one of Christopher Reeve's movies.
At what
I'm
age?
serious. Young. We don't need it. Doesn't matter. It's the one I had a copy of.
It's the only it's the only physical copy you have, and it's by your bed, isn't it? It's on your bedstand.
It would be if I had a physical copy, but I can't bring myself to do that. That's gross.
I
He doesn't
even
believe
own
in
a
physical
physical
media.
copy.
But Nuclear Man, come on. He was
Yes.
awesome.
Greatest villain that ever became Superman lore. Yeah, no, obviously.
Hey, when I was a kid, when I was real little, and I mean real little, that was my favorite one because it was the only one where he fought someone like him, except for Superman 2, but they weren't really like him. They were like in Kryptonian garb. Like I thought it was cool that it was a Superman clone who had been made, in the sun.
He had a costume.
He did. That was, 90% of the appeal for me. Like I was like 3.
Fair enough.
Looking back, he looks like he belongs in a Arnold Schwarzenegger 80s movie. But I right there with you guys. When I was young, I enjoyed that and Batman Forever. So
I like how you say that like it's a negative thing.
I don't appreciate
Come on,
young Travis's taste anymore.
This is the Schwarzenegger comment. This is the era of nostalgia for people like us. We have to look back and go, "Yay! Things were shitty and great."
Especially with all those like new action movies they're putting out now that they're 60 and 70. I'm like, guys, you just gotta give it a rest.
Last Action Hero Part 2. Where is it?
Another Rambo movie? Enough's enough.
No, I'm on board. No, I was sad that I didn't get to go see the new Rambo movie. I know it's probably racist and all sorts of ridiculous crap, but I'm just like, no, I want to see what this senile old man is doing now. Like, I want to see all the craziness. Like,
Yeah,
what is this shit
it
show?
almost convinced me to go back and watch however many of the previous installments. So, like, it's effective in that sense, I suppose, if I actually went out and paid for the movies. But, like, I do that sometimes when a new thing comes out and I'm like, oh, I've been meaning to watch that franchise for, like, forever. It's fine. I'll get around to it. So, marketing-wise, it's smart.
Yeah. All right. You guys want to talk about Legends of Tomorrow?
Sure.
Because I'm a little sad here. Brandon Routh was on Rosenbaum's podcast, and he said that basically they did tell him before they started production for this new season, but he says that them telling him and his wife they were being written out of the show was not handled well. That's a quote. It was not handled well. And it has been something my wife and I are both still working through.
Dave, he is still working through it. I want to say before the first episode, he was commenting on IG posts telling him that it wasn't his decision. He was sad. Yeah. So I don't think he still worked through it, and I think it's a terrible decision. Clearly, he didn't want to leave the show. I'm thinking it has something to do with budget, because I kind of want to say that Brandon Routh is probably up there, if not the top paid actor on that show, considering what he was coming with compared to the rest of the cast.
Well, not that they wouldn't say this anyway, but they were like the writers or one of the producers, I think it was Phil Klemmer, came out and said that they felt like their story had come to a natural close and they didn't want to keep, pushing that character if he didn't have anything to do. And it's true that I've been looking at the show for a while ago, and what is Ray doing exactly? He's not like he's being the Atom. He's not shrinking.
Nope.
From week to week. He's not in costume. He's just sort of being goofy on the ship. And that's really fun for me. But what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But I like Brandon Routh, and I think everyone who listens to the show knows how I feel about Courtney Ford. Really sad to see her go. But
you got those
creepiest way I could have said that.
You got those Roger Rabbit hard eyes coming out now.
I do. Yeah, I'm sad to see him go, though. I hate that he's taking it so hard. And I also read his comments about how he felt about when he lost Superman all those years ago. And, God, I just feel so bad for the guy.
I mean, it's a little bit different because, to be fair, he at least played this character for like 5 years. But we'll have to grade when we see his final episode. But it feels like he's being, I don't know, just pushed aside. But we talked about this on the Last Fans actually a little bit. I think the show is making a making an effort to move towards basically non-CGI required powers, like more practical effects. I mean, if you look at the bulk of their cast now, it's all pure practical stuff. It's all physical fight, like hand-to-hand fighting. They're moving away from superpowers. And what superpowers they do show, they heavily de-emphasize them.
Yeah.
Better watch out, Nate. You're going to be next.
Why? He doesn't use his powers. He's fine.
Yeah.
They never have him use them.
They never do. Just like Ray.
That's what happened to Ray, and then they eventually pushed him to the side.
That happened to Ray in season 2, though. I mean, in that case, Nate's got 3 more years. He'll be fine. But they do.
Well, Firestorm didn't have that long.
No, they did the same thing in season 2 to Firestorm. They kept cutting. They would find the stupidest reasons to keep Jax and Martin separated, and I do mean the stupidest reasons.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And
They would go on separate parties in every mission, and you're like, okay, let's separate our most powerful legend.
Yeah, the two
and
people
put
who
two
are
of them out.
worthless by
Genius.
themselves.
They'll never see it coming.
But all they do is fine. But if you think about it, okay, so they've been de-emphasizing Atom. They hardly ever have Steel. They got rid of Firestorm. Who else do they have with actual powers?
Well, they turned Amaya's character into Charlie, in that where she barely uses powers.
She
now.
shapeshifts, which they always do off screen.
Which is very easy to show, even if they don't. I don't think it's anywhere near like her Vixen powers, which I actually enjoyed how they put that out there for
It's basically
like live action.
Constantine, right? He's about the only one, and all of his end up being draw a circle on the floor and talk in some other language.
Which I'm okay with. I just
But it's not. They're getting rid of. I mean, maybe it's because their cast is so big, but they're getting rid of all the CGI, like required CGI.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing they're doing. And what I've been hoping for, and with this season, it seems like they're moving towards a little bit. It seems like this season they're focusing on kind of wrapping up Constantine's show a little bit.
Yeah.
And what I would like to see them do is, one, just like, did any of you guys ever read the Exiles from Marvel Comics?
Which one? I love that book.
The one where you have Nocturne and Blink and
oh hell yes,
all of those. Loved that. It was like Sliders, but through parallel dimensions. That is what I want for Legends of Tomorrow. And it does require people to be killed off, people to stay behind, find happiness somewhere, leave, whatever. Go back to their time, go back to their et cetera, et cetera. I want to see Legends of Tomorrow do more of that, and I want them to tell, arcs that are either retellings of DC Universe comics or just things that fill arcs that fill out the DCCW. So I know what they're doing with Brandon Routh and Courtney Ford is really what I've been wanting. I'm just sad that that they don't feel like it was handled well, and I'm sad that they're somewhat heartbroken over the entire situation.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think that he'll come back for any episodes now that he feels this way? Because, I mean, we got Jack's return for the season finale of, I want to say season 3, maybe? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, like, down the line, maybe they'll ask him to come back. Maybe the Legends will come recruit him for a 2-part episode. Do you think he would be down for that? Because I'm thinking because the way they handle this, and he's been open about it, how he hasn't liked the way they handled it. I don't know if he'll just openly just come right back if they need him.
He said on Rosenbaum's podcast that he basically will cross that bridge when he comes to it. So he wasn't willing to say, no, I'm done with this, never. But he also wasn't saying, absolutely, I'm there anytime. And I couldn't tell from the listening to it, was he just trying to avoid spoilers? Or is that, was he, because it just felt like he was dancing around the question a little bit. But honestly, my hunch is that yes, he will come back. Because even if he feels like his exit was handled poorly, he was very clear how much the cast and crew mean to him. And I think he wouldn't pass up the opportunity to come back and work with them again.
Yeah, it sounded more sad than angry. There's there's some hard feelings, of course, but it doesn't seem to be like, oh, screw them, I'm never coming back. It's just like a bit more moderate than that, and just, sad for himself that he had to leave and how it was handled, and he called it traumatic, so it's bit dramatic, but it doesn't seem like he's cut that out of his life or anything.
Yeah,
depending on the episode count, they could reach their 100th episode next season. So who knows? That seems like a time for to bring back all the original legends.
Oh, sure. I can't imagine, aside from saying, hey, congratulations, we're giving you your own Adam show, I can't imagine, like, a way for them to write him out that would be handled well to the person who was being written out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Even if they're, like, he said they talked to him before production, so they gave him, what did he give, 10 months?
I mean, he was fired,
to know?
effectively fired. I mean, technically, it's like contract wasn't renewed, but no, who's going to feel good about that? It's not like when Stephen Amell was leaving and he knew it was coming, but it was his choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, can you do one more season? Please?
He's like, they backed the Brinks truck up to my house and gave me more money than I made in any of the other seasons. So yeah, I said, for sure.
Yeah. Well, how did he put it? To say no would be irresponsible?
Yeah, it would have been
financially irresponsible.
And I'm glad they did that, but
yeah.
I mean, they're not going to do that for Brandon Routh. I'm sorry. So
yeah,
who started on Arrow? Just putting that out there.
It did. It all comes back to Arrow for you.
It's strange how much they act like they've forgotten that he started on Arrow too.
well, Brent said he was here for 5 years, and I was just thinking 6. He started on Arrow a year before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this year isn't over yet, so I was rounding.
All right. We got Green Canary and the Canaries. Green Arrow and the Canaries. What did I say?
Green Canary. You said Green Canary.
Yeah.
Oh, Green Arrow and the Canaries.
If you hadn't said that, you could have edited it out, but now you have to leave it in.
Oh, yep. No. I don't like to edit.
That's not a thing we do.
I'd rather
on this
point
show.
out my. Yeah, I mean, it's actually done more than you think it is, but way less than it should be. All right, so Charlie Barnett, who plays John Diggle Jr., he has been cast in an NBC pilot. It's called Ordinary Joe, and it's going to center on 3 parallel lives of a guy named Joe Kimbrough. He's not playing Joe Kimbrough, by the way. And it's 3 parallel lives of Joe Kimbrough coming to a major turning point in his life. Each of the 3 stories will be based on one decision he might make, boiled down in the series description as love, loyalty, or passion. The last part of this description makes me think it's going to be picked up. The basic premise of it, though, the last half sounds like This Is Us. The first half sounds like that show that Jason Isaacs was on that got canceled. It sounds
that's what I was just
NBC
thinking
to pick
of.
up.
Oh, the show where in one reality his wife dies and in the other reality his kid dies. What was that called?
Yeah.
I like that show.
I don't remember. The premise was intriguing as hell, and I wanted to watch it, but then it got canceled, and I went, never mind. I love Jason Isaacs. Anyway, that has nothing to do with this. I'm just saying it might actually interfere with Green Arrow and the Canaries if it comes up, and Mark Guggenheim says they'll hear something in May as to whether or not that gets picked up. So
I don't think it's looking good for that show
why
much
would you say
as
that?
I want it to be there. Because of this character going off and this actor going off and finding work. Although I think you could make an argument for him to be like the big bad second in command type deal, just a person that's there for half a season because of the way that backdoor pilot ended.
yeah.
But still, we haven't heard anything. Beth Schwartz is putting out cryptic tweets saying like this year's gonna suck. Apparently, that was only yesterday, I think. So I'm just not confident. I want it to be picked up so bad. I'm just not confident considering how they picked up Superman and Lois without even having a backdoor pilot or a pilot, and they didn't do the same for this. It just makes me think, especially picking up Stargirl, that their quota for DC shows on CW are filled. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because I want it. Also, guiltily, I think you could do a Kevin Smith quiver run on Green Arrow and the Canaries for a full season.
Yeah.
But that's just my guilty hoping that happens.
Well, Green Arrow and the Canaries had, wasn't it the highest rated episode of season 8?
Not related to Crisis, yes. Not counting the Crisis episode. For the record, that show, Jason Isaacs' show was called Awake.
Awake. That was it.
He'd go to sleep and he'd wake up in the other reality. Here's why I'm not concerned at this point about the show. one, Superman and Lois and whatever the other show that got picked up straight to season, because they did it with 2 of them. It's like the first time in, a decade or whatever since the CW has done that. Like, they don't do that. That's not a regular occurrence. So Green Arrow and the Canary not being picked up yet is not abnormal at all. Like, if you remove Superman and Lois, we wouldn't be thinking anything of not having heard about Green Arrow and the Canaries. Add to that the success that this universe has had on this network. I see now I wouldn't expect it to get a full 23 episodes, but I honestly think it is going to get some sort of shorter episode count, like Legends of Tomorrow, or even shorter like Black Lightning. I genuinely believe that's going to happen. If I'm wrong, okay, I'm wrong. But right now, I'm not worried about it.
They have already thankfully been pushing in that direction with all of these shows going to a shorter episode count, and I'm really happy with that. Yeah, there's so much filler in 23 episodes.
Mm-hmm. It might make it feasible for me to actually keep up with all these shows, because I'm like 2 years behind on most of them.
Well, no, because they're going to double the amount of series they produce.
Yeah, probably. But oh well.
WB owns half of the CW, I think. Half of it, maybe. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it's half with CBS, I want to say.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see WB like pushing them to take that. They would want as much of their own content on that network as possible.
Well, yeah, because they're getting those shows on HBO Max. Like Batwoman is not going to Netflix; it's going straight to HBO Max. Green Arrow and the Canaries would be going to HBO Max, and this is a relatively cheap way for them to get content for the streaming service. And everything matters when it can help the streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to get that streaming service.
Yes, you are. It'll just be 4 months behind. DC Universe, on the other hand, no. In all seriousness, if you don't get HBO Max is dead. They can't afford not to go worldwide.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We're not getting HBO Max. Brent is already put out there, but I want to say Crave TV streaming service will get all the new HBO DC content come to it. So I'm pretty sure they're paying HBO a substantial price to get that stuff.
So so you're getting the content, not the service.
Not the service.
But the service is getting licensing money for the content.
Yes, that's what I would assume.
You're good then. You still have access.
Yeah.
You still have legal access. Let me be clear about that. Not counting
there you go.
Not counting torrents and stuff like that. You're fine. But it can't be like DC Universe where nobody else gets it but the US.
Oh, that will not succeed for sure if it's like that.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys think is we sort of have this now with Stargirl. I mean, of course, with Crisis, we have pretty much everything's connected, everything. But Stargirl is debuting on DC Universe first on May 11th, and then CW the day after. Do you think that they're going to just start taking shows in that universe, in the CW universe, Earth Prime, whatever you want to call it, and start just throwing it on DC Universe or HBO Max or whatever if CW doesn't pick it up?
That's tough. That's tough. Stargirl is a weird position because Berlanti is still over the DCU shows also. It's not. So I mean, you do have the connection through him, but Stargirl didn't start as a CW Supergirl. CW passed on, and then CBS picked it up. And then it ended up back on. Stargirl isn't that way. Stargirl wasn't passed on by the CW. It started at DC Universe, and then they worked out this deal. You got to assume directly through Berlanti's connections to both sides of the business. They worked out this deal to do this DC Universe, the next day CW, the next day after that the CW app, I believe. I don't know. I don't think Stargirl is a canary in the coal mine there of that particular situation. I mean, as someone who likes them to be connected, I'm not against it. I just don't. Maybe in hindsight we'll look at Stargirl as a start, but right now I don't see it.
Okay.
If I had DC Universe app, I'd be a little pissed at the way that they're working this out, because you only get 1 day exclusiveness, and then you're losing it, especially after 2 days, it'll go to that free CW Seed app. I don't know. We don't get that.
I still want to know, is it the same cut? Is it, because DC Universe, the episodes vary in length, and a lot of them are longer than what they would put on the CW, so they're going to cut stuff out. I have DC Universe, Travis, so I will watch it on there, and then I will probably try and watch the CW version also. just to see if there's if I can find differences.
And I will listen to see what your thoughts are on that. Because here's the thing. I have DC Universe. I will watch it on DC Universe and be glad that I don't have to watch those stupid ads for freaking Pepper and Cinnamon that play 5 or 6 times in a row on the CW. They still don't know how to do their app, man. They're still playing the same crappy, their commercials are just the worst.
But you don't have to have a cable login for it. That's the advantage of their. I agree, but you don't have to even have a cable login to use their app. And
I mean, that's great, but
and just to be clear, I won't do that. Yeah, it is free. I won't do that with every episode, but I want to do it with the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, you've got it made too well in the United States for streaming services to be complaining about that.
Oh, I'll complain.
I can't even access it.
Actually, I shouldn't complain. I have a plugin on my browser that lets me skip those commercials.
Travis, you just need to learn what a VPN is and go from there.
Yeah, I know, Brent. I just don't really want to go through that hassle.
You don't want to pay for it.
You can find it at the back of a truck.
They're called home movies.
How we have
thank
to do
you.
Stuff.
All right, we got a first look at this pilot script, the title page for Superman and Lois, and it looks like the story is written by Greg Berlanti and Todd Helbing, and we've got it. The director is Lee Toland Krieger, who is known for Deadly Class and mainly Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Riverdale. Are you guys familiar with those shows?
I've seen Riverdale.
No.
Yeah, I had to stop watching Riverdale because it was so awful.
No, I am telling you, it gets batshit crazy, but it is hilarious. It's a frame of mind. It's a frame of mind when you're watching Riverdale. I watch it on Netflix. No, I don't care.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. You're definitely laughing at it. Let's be clear. But
season 1 was actually a compelling mystery. Season 2 got so batshit crazy, I was just annoyed by it. And about halfway through season 3, I was like, this is like a Will Ferrell movie. Like a latter-day Will Ferrell movie, where they've just gotten so insane that I'm not even laughing anymore. I just want it to end. Oof. So, and then when they started announcing spinoffs, I just said, I'm done.
I mean, basically, the guy that it's very obvious the guy that plays Archie really wanted to be a superhero, and I don't know what his name is, but he really wanted to play a superhero, and the show is ridiculous. So I couldn't tell you what episodes though that this guy directed. So I watch it on Netflix and I move on to whatever the next show I'm gonna binge is when I don't have my quote unquote real shows. So
yeah,
I don't know, and I haven't seen Deadly Class. I've read a little bit of the comic, but I haven't seen any of the show, so I can't comment on that.
Now I will say I haven't seen Sabrina, but for Riverdale, man, everything that I've just said about how bad it is, that's all writing. The direction has always been really good. So.
Right, and
it looks pretty.
They're not writing. I mean, okay, Berlanti technically is Riverdale is a Berlanti show, but they know what show they're making. Riverdale knows what it is, and they know it is not the same thing. I mean, the closest it has in the DCCW would be Legends, and even that they're radically different still.
Well, they just went backwards to me. Like Legends started out bad. And got fun when they figured out what they were.
I'm going to respectfully disagree.
I know you
disagree.
I know you guys disagree. I just, maybe I would have liked the first season of Legends more if it wasn't for Vandal Savage. I hated him so much.
I can't go with you. Enjoy your island. No, you're not on an island. In this one, that is by far the popular opinion. I just don't agree with it.
But the most I've liked Vandal Savage was when he was playing Jenga in Hell with Ray.
That was pretty funny. That one got a laugh out of me. But because then Legends treats itself like a joke now, and when they get serious, they really can still do it. But it's so few and far between, and it just. I watched the show. And I will always watch the show because there's no way something in this universe is going to happen without me having seen it. But I'm just like, season 1, you were so much better. And everyone else is like, season 1 sucked. You're so much better now.
Yeah. Well, there was so much time devoted to in every episode to Jax and Martin explaining their power to each other in the same way over. Like, it's just every episode. I'm like, yes, we both know that you have a psychic connection. Stop mentioning it.
It's not without its criticisms.
I'll agree with Dave on that one, because especially when both Jax and Ray were going after Kendra, and Stein was like, "Oh, I feel him. He's in pain. Oh, he's humiliated. Oh, he's embarrassed." I'm like, this is not necessary at all.
Yeah, and what's even worse is like it seemed like every episode there was a point where Victor Garber has to take Jax aside and says, "Or have you forgotten that I feel everything you feel?" Like, no, none of us have forgotten. People who don't watch the show know this now because it's just echoed, reverberated throughout the cosmos. We get it.
But I tell you one thing, we got powers in that first season. We got powers.
Mm-hmm. We did. Yeah.
That's fair.
I'll give you that. They weren't doing the Hero Season 1 thing. Where you see someone power up, you're like, "Oh shit, it's about to go down," and they go to commercial and they come back and like the fight is over. Well, son of a bitch. I thought we were going to see something. Anyway, with country restrictions, I'm not sure. Has anyone here seen Doom Patrol?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I
Do you think
particularly
I
enjoyed
witnessed that?
Brent reviewing it.
All right, everyone's speaking at once. What happened?
I particularly enjoyed Brent having to review that, because each week he sounded more and more sad and
Yeah.
just wanted to keep
I
on
never
it.
reviewed the final episode. I left the show before that
That's
final
right.
episode.
I do remember that. I do remember you hated it.
Poor
It's not
thing.
for me.
And I did enjoy that too. I enjoyed that you hated it for some reason.
I'm glad I'm not alone in that.
I get why people like it. I get it. It's just not for me. And
I get it.
I'll just say that final episode may have been the worst episode of the show for me. And I know how much people loved it, and I get it, and I'm not even going to bother with season 2. It's not for me, and as I've made a point of saying, not everything has to be for me,
No.
and that's fine.
It doesn't.
I
not
get
now.
it.
Not now.
Well, see, the problem, the worst thing about you not liking it to me is I don't get to hear you whine about how you don't like it. Because that was the most, that was one of the, I enjoyed it so much hearing you complain about it. And I don't know, it seemed like Ray took such umbrage that it was
he did.
just, oh my God, it was a really entertaining podcast.
You could see it. You could hear it every episode. He would be like a little bit hopeful starting off that Brent liked the episode, and then within 5 minutes of conversation,
I'd
he
be
was
so
like, "Oh, come
excited
on."
when there was something I actually liked. I'd be like, "Oh, that part was so great."
I loved Doom Patrol.
And then
I
they
loved
had
season
like giant
1.
rats making out with giant hamsters or whatever the fuck it was at the end. And no, I'm done.
It was just okay for me. It was kind of like Legends on steroids or crack, maybe. To me,
Yeah.
it was like 10 times where Legends go.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Legends, I enjoy way less for some reason. Like, I think there's a lot more, like, pathos in Doom Patrol. Just, like, there's still really heartfelt, dramatic, like, the people are actually fucked up. And like, Legends really has gotten to take itself like a joke, and I just couldn't stick with it forever. So it's...
You know what? Doom Patrol showed you powers. You showed
yeah.
Like, they at least would show you the powers, and they would show you the different, like, you would see all the different Crazy Janes, and you would see the girl that became a blob, Elastigirl. I couldn't remember her name for a second. Like, you would see that stuff. And I mean, at least they saw, and even Mr. Negative Man name, I can't remember. I really don't remember this show very much.
Yeah,
but
Negative Man.
like, you would see it though, right? Or Mr. Nobody's flying around, like the spirit of him, like flying around. He was a character I did like, for the record. Like, you would actually see their powers. Like, I never felt like they were holding back to save the budget, and you do get that on Legends.
Yeah, I didn't feel like Doom Patrol, like, for me, Doom Patrol was like, they showed us a lot of the zaniness of the DC universe, like, not all of it, but they gave us a good prep for, like, how crazy the DC universe can actually get, because, if you know a lot of the comics, DC gets weird as hell.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes.
No, definitely.
Sure.
So, yeah, it wasn't whole hog or anything. They just gave us, just the tip, just for a minute.
Tip. That's right.
Just to see how it feels. And I was, I felt it fine. I liked it. When you get
You fucked yourself with that metaphor.
It's okay. The tip worked for you. We get it. The tip just didn't work for me the same way it did for you.
And, I love DC, so for future reference, DC doesn't have to just splash around in the shallow end.
I am glad that the show got renewed for all the people who like it. I am. There are some people who will say, oh, I hate it. The show shouldn't exist. And I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say I'm not going to watch it. And I have questioned, should I have an annual DC Universe pass, or should I be just paying monthly when Titans is on or Stargirl is on? And I went ahead and renewed it for the second year because it gave me the same first year deal that I got, where it made it cheap enough that if I just get Titans and Stargirl out of it, that's assuming I like Stargirl, but it's cool that it got renewed. It's a cool thing, and I like them in their Titans episode, which was effectively a backdoor pilot because they immediately said, but it won't be on the same universe or won't be in the same world. I liked them there. It's just clearly for me, I need very little doses. And Doom Patrol, for me, it was the tip, the shaft, and too much.
Didn't they show Doom Patrol and Titans being as separate worlds, Earths, at the end of Crisis?
And everybody acted like that was new information. It's like they told us that during Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Did they tell us in the actual show, or did they just the creators?
The creators, the producers, told us during that they're not designing them to be the same, and that they recasted 2 or 3 people, and including the chief.
It was just the chief.
Well, it was the chief, and then recast. Mr. Nobody was the body was played by someone different in the Titans.
I didn't even remember him being in Titans.
Yeah, it was episode 4 of Titans season 1, I believe.
I remember the episode. I just don't remember him.
I don't remember him being there either, Dave. Either.
Are you talking about Negative Man?
Maybe I am talking about Negative Man.
Yeah, that's what
I get them confused. I get them confused. So maybe I am talking about Negative Man, the mummy guy.
Yeah, that's Negative Man. Okay.
That's Negative Man. Yeah. All right. So, not that Brent will care, but Samantha Ware has been cast in season 2.
Who is she?
She'll be in multiple episodes as one of Crazy Jane's personalities.
That's neat. Ooh. Just getting more of her personalities, I'm all in. It's fine. That's
absolutely.
Good.
I think she was the standout character of the first season, in my opinion. The range that the actress had to go to with all those different personalities, I thought she nailed it quite well.
I have one of my best friends has 2 rats as pets. And they're named Flit and Hammy after Flit and Hammerhead, and it's just she's pretty general audience compared to me, but that's the impact the show had. Apparently, they're just that good.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I'm excited to see more.
Diane Guerrero, who plays Crazy Jane, is a really good actress. And I don't know if you guys watched Orange Is the New Black at all, but her character was definitely more of a joke on that show. But she had her moments there too, and then you put her on even I, with everything I've said about Doom Patrol, recognizes she turned in amazing work for that show.
Yeah, I think everybody turned in fantastic work, but I can see why you wouldn't be into it. But everybody was great on that show.
Yeah, I'll get back to Orphan Black someday, but I don't remember anything from the season and a half I did watch, so that's.
Well, I will tell you, her best work comes in the last season or 2.
Okay. Curious.
All right. I don't know who watches Lucifer here, but the showrunners and Tom Ellis are now on board, TV Line says. So we're just waiting on the official word from Netflix for season 6.
I don't think I got very far through season 2, but that's me. I have a group of all my gay friends are into it, and I'm you guys are way better at binging than I am, so I don't know. It's popular.
Yeah, it was the number 1 binged show last year, but as we've said on the show, once it got to Netflix, shit got good.
Yeah, no, I heard. I am a listener, so this is I know. I always feel bad that I have to catch up 3 seasons before it gets good. And I'm when am I gonna do that? When do I have time?
That's the problem with it. I haven't watched it either, and I've heard you say on the show, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks, it's Netflix, it's good, it's good, it's good. And I'm like, my brain won't let me skip all the crappy seasons, and I'm not going to put myself through them. So I liked him in Crisis.
Right. Here's the thing. Yeah. Here's the thing about it sucking for 3 seasons. If you are okay watching episodic procedural television with extremely charismatic stars, you'll be good. Like, we have never seen an episode where we didn't laugh out loud.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean by, like, they're better at binging than me, because I can barely, I live for the high-quality miniseries that just aren't too long, are condensed, or don't have a lot of filler, just keep rolling, and I'll get through them, and if they're week to week on DC Universe, I can manage more easily, but just weekly regular shows with longer seasons, I don't have the time anymore.
Yeah.
It's adult life, man. It's killing me, says the 23-year-old.
It really is. It's a perfect show for the first 3 seasons to throw on in the background while you're doing some, meaningless task that you have to get through.
Yeah.
But it took a minute to get there. It really did. And I'm not necessarily saying you need to absolutely go out and watch this thing just for the Netflix shows. It is, in my opinion, the exact opposite of Arrested Development. It got to Netflix and it got good.
Shots fired.
Oh God, my wife and I just managed, like, we just put it, got ourselves together, and over the course of a couple nights watched the last half of that final season of Arrested. And we were just like staring at each other, like going, how did this go awry? Like, what did they do? How did they not know how to write these characters suddenly? Which I guess it wasn't suddenly.
Is it even the same writer's room? Like, that sounds like they just got people to imitate the same show or something. But yeah,
it's so bad.
It's weird.
Anyway, I'm a little worried that, because I think what really worked for Lucifer on Netflix is because they had a limited episode count to tell their story, and they didn't have room for all the bullshit filler. And if they keep adding seasons, they're going to be like, oh, well, now we have time for filler. And I'm a little worried about that.
Unfortunately, I've seen more Gotham than I have Lucifer, as in I've only seen 1 episode of Lucifer, I think. And I don't think I can just go through the same kind of... that what you described just felt to me like watching a lot of Gotham. And I just can't go through that again with another DC property after that. And Powerless, it's just... I can't do it.
Well, Powerless is a tale of tragedy and woe.
Yeah, because they aired it.
I'll watch that someday, but I haven't gotten around to it. So,
if they could just make a show about Ron Funch's character from Powerless, I'd be all right. Let's just follow him.
There was a Powerless shout out in the finale of Arrow.
Yeah,
I know, that was great.
The billboard.
Absolutely. All right, so looks like we have a. Looks like we have a question from one of our listeners, Travis Hynes.
You take questions from that crazy guy?
Yeah.
Can
Travis Hynes says.
This was before I knew I was coming on.
I think it's a good question, though.
Yeah.
If you could erase 2 DCCW characters from existence, who would they be and why?
God, this one is...
Well, Gary is number 1 on Legends.
Who?
Gary.
Who the hell is
Gary, yeah.
Because he sucks. Who the hell is Gary that's all right. Just, you don't even need to know.
I might never have gotten around to him. I just don't know or don't remember either or.
Gary started off as a background side character who was fine for like 2 episodes. And then they thought, oh, he was funny in this scene. Let's just make him a regular.
Oh, God, that sounds like a bad plan.
Let's have a demonic unicorn bite off his nipple and bring it to hell.
What?
His nipple becomes demonic and is sliding around, inching along on the ground like an inch. It's stupid, man. It's so funny, though. I don't know. I hate it and love it at the same time.
they brought that joke back around too at the almost end of that season, and oh God, Gary is one for me too, Brent, and I'm like conflicted between Mona and Damien Dark on Arrow.
No, I can't.
Oh my God,
Mona all the way. If those are your choices,
Mona all the way.
Damien Dark was different. It was a magical base person. It was making Oliver's big bad fight somebody with actual powers. Whether or not it worked is questionable, but I like that they were trying it. I like that it wasn't just a repeat of have him fight somebody with a sword at the end of the season. To be fair, like seasons 2 and 3 were. And season 1 basically was, even though his sword was his bow. They were at least trying. Mona just sucks. Again, she's like Gary, a side character with 1 or 2 funny scenes, and then they decided that meant she should just be a regular. She hasn't been around the last few episodes. They made it sound like she left the show. Thank God.
I'm glad you're all picking like more recent characters that I know nothing about. So like I know like I don't get a lot of motivation from this to actually catch up, but you know, it's comforting in a way.
All the other characters are good characters. All the rest of the team, they're all good characters. It's just these 2.
Yeah, I think Mona is on that list for me. But geez, I really hated Laurel.
Really?
Which
Laurel?
I considered that, but at the same time I was like, how can I like erase Laurel? Like that would have been a gaping hole in like where's Black Canary? Like why don't we have anyone named Laurel in this show about Green Arrow? Like that would feel weird, but at the same time I like that was one of the things I was like maybe that's an option.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of people I really hate on any of the stuff I watched. So
yeah, erasing the character from existence does leave a pretty big hole in Arrow, and I think Earth 2 Canary, or Siren, whatever you want to call her, it was leaps and bounds better than Earth 1 Laurel, so...
That's not a high bar, but sure.
I think she got there. I don't think she started there. I think she was really interesting as a villain.
Yeah.
And it's clear that Katie Cassidy loved playing the villain, but I don't feel the same way about Earth 1 Laurel that you do. Like, she wasn't the best or strongest character on the show. I would never argue that, but I liked her character. Could they have done things better? Yes. Did she need 1 or 2 more training montages so we could believe she could fight? Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah.
But...
well, that was the thing about... they did it, like... I think it was like season 1, they actually have Laurel, like, beat somebody's ass.
In the pilot,
like,
you mean? In the pilot episode? Yes, they do.
And she's like, oh yeah, I've had this training. And then all of a sudden they just, like, retcon that where she can't fight, she can't do anything. She takes half of a Tylenol and she's a drug addict. And because they can't show anything for real, like I don't know. Like I'm not necessarily blaming Katie Cassidy. I don't, early episodes of DC on screen, we didn't know who to blame, writers or Katie Cassidy. At now this point, I don't know if she's. Well, I don't know if she's grown as an actress, because that's certainly possible. She seems a lot better, and we did point out that suddenly she was a lot better of an actress on The Flash when she crossovered over there,
which makes you think it's writing and directing.
Yeah. But the other thing was, in as far as her being a great villain or a great, foil, up to that point, she'd pretty much played like Mean Girls.
She was terrible.
Dave,
I'm in agreement with you. The way she was written.
She started in the era of we're trying to make Christopher Nolan's Batman on television, though. And when Black Siren came around, she came in the era of we're a comic book show and we're going to act like it.
I would agree with you, but Sarah came in season 2 and was everything I wanted Laurel to be in terms of a badass.
You know what's crazy though? When I just recently, like when Arrow ended that night, my wife went to bed and I went back and watched the first 3 episodes of Arrow. Katie Cassidy was good. I thought she was good. I was like, what happened? She's doing a great job acting here. They had a solid hold on the character. They knew exactly who her character was and what she was doing.
Nobody cared about I shouldn't say nobody cared about her. People weren't upset with her character until season 2 when Sarah came back, and it's like the writers didn't know how to have Laurel handle Sarah being alive. And that's when the drug problem started. That's when the alcohol problem started. And that's what people point to when they really bitch about the Earth 1 version.
Well, there was the other thing when season 2 came back. That is not, necessarily nice to mention, but I'm pretty sure she had a ton of work done and couldn't move her face.
I mean, I would agree that she had work done. I mean, if you go back and watch season 1, she looks different. She does.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know. Was there a medical reason? I don't know. Was it elective? Was it both? I don't know. I'm not even going to get into that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
who knows?
It's no use like talking about like the merits of cosmetic surgery, but I never really noticed for some reason. I just wasn't that impressed.
If you
with
go
the
back
acting,
and look at her,
like link it. Yeah, no, if I put it side to side, I probably would like get it, but I never did. So it was like a crossfade, and I never really noticed.
Well, yeah, that was
I'm not.
sort of.
I'm not very perceptive on these things. Like the first time I watched, speaking of Nolan, the Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, I watched it in such terrible quality because I believe I got ripped DVDs from like a dad of a friend or something, and I didn't notice Rachel was a different person. I was just like, oh sure, that's Rachel. It's a brunette. It's fine. So yeah, I'm not a very perceptive person. I'm not the standard here.
I will say I'm glad that Black Siren became a thing because I like Katie Cassidy. I like her on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they found a way to do it, and it fits what that network does with the way they have an actor play an alternate version of themselves. It fits the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just so we're clear, I wasn't passing any kind of judgment. I'm just saying there was some weirdness going on. We watched it. We like binged season 1 right before season 2 started, and we just came in. We're like, wait, who is this? Like, we legitimately did not know who she was for a minute. We were like, oh shit, that's Laurel. Okay.
That's the other end of the spectrum, just not recognizing anyone anymore. But like,
yeah,
you didn't shave. Who are you?
It couldn't have been further from the comic version.
Yeah, they really did go. They went out of their way to not do Black Canary the same way the comics did it.
Yeah, they basically made her a damsel in distress for, I want to say, at least close to 2 seasons.
Yeah, and that wasn't a good look for me.
Anyway.
It was
never.
I think that's why I like Sarah so much. To be honest with you, I think that's part of the reason that she had such a big fandom and helped her like get onto her own show. Was
she
people
started that way. Sarah started as a damsel, but then she became just a badass, and it was cool because we got to see that transition happen, and because we know her story telling us took place over years, not months, it was more believable than Earth One Laurel going from damsel to badass.
Yeah, 100% agree there, Brent.
Yeah, and I would like to add, like, part of that, of course, is that the gays are very vocal fans. I know from experience, Stan Twitter is a mess, but, like, the just making her bi definitely helps getting a lot of buzz around a character. Because people will watch anything just for that. Because there's just a sore lack of representation, and you feel that as soon as there's something out there and people are grasping at it, and it's weird.
Well, representation is one thing.
Representation, so, you know.
Representation on this network, though, is second to none.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's light years
compared to others,
the rest.
It's amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm very glad for that.
Travis also asked if we could eliminate one season of a DCCW show, what would it be and why?
I have a cop-out answer. Because I'm not up to date. I just, like, I would like to erase season 1 of Flash from my memory, just so I could, like, have my mind blown again. Because I feel like that's where I really got into everything. Because it's oh god, he's so good as Reverse Flash. It's just, oh. And I remember there's like out there on the interwebs, there's a fan cut movie that's no longer downloadable because it's a fan cut of the season 1 into like 3 movie length episodes, and it seemed like a really fun idea because I could show my mom that and be like, you don't have to watch 23 episodes, it's fine, you skip the filler, and it's just been deleted, so I can't find it anymore. But I want to someday like do my own edit of that and just see if I can condense it down a bit so I can force her.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't think she'll like it any more than she likes any of the other superhero stuff, though.
Well, it's a lot. It's very charming. Like, she likes the like lighter stuff. She's fine with Marvel. She's good with Suicide Squad, you know? So, like, given that, I there's a lot of heart in there.
There is, definitely. What do you think? Brent? Travis?
Travis, you suck. I don't know the answer to this.
It's a meme.
See, these were supposed to be for me to listen to afterwards,
You keep asking-
like when I wasn't on, and laugh at Brent having to answer this. But
All
I'll
busting questions.
jump in and say Arrow season 4.
Yeah, I knew you'd
as
say
much
that.
as I love Arrow,
Oh, God. Which one was 4?
If I could keep the Damien Dark season,
Oh, yeah, of course. No, that makes sense.
if I could keep an episode, it would have been the episode that they brought Constantine into
Episode
the DCCW.
5, I think, that year. I think that was episode 5.
Yeah, you're right. Season 4, episode 5.
I should not remember that.
Haunted, I think it's called. I should not remember that.
Okay, don't be a walking Wikipedia. We get it. You're a fan. It's fine.
I'm going to say Supergirl season 1. And not because I don't like it.
Oh, yeah.
I like that season a lot. I really enjoyed the show. I loved the show that year. And in fact, that season has one of my absolute favorite episodes, period, with World's Finest when Flash goes over there. I would want to keep that episode if that was allowed. But the reason I say that is that it feels like the forgotten season that they just, for whatever reason, they just don't talk about as much. You know, Kat Grant left the show. She's had like next to no presence on the show since then. And Maxwell Lord, you know, he's on the show. He was really cool that season, but where's he been? Nowhere. It's like that season didn't happen. It's never referenced. It's never brought back. And I thought for sure with the 100th episode of Supergirl they would, but even then they really didn't. And so I would say that season, but that would pain me to lose the World's Finest because that is just a happy episode for me. And so I would not want to lose that episode.
Fair enough. I think maybe like something I could miss might be like Legends season 2 or so, because I remember like everyone who loves the new Legends is like, well, it got good at 3, and then everyone who's like, no, I missed the serious tone is like, well, 1 is important. Like that was what I came in for. So I feel like that's the one I never got entirely through, I think. I'm not sure. I still, like, which season is the Camelot episode? Oh
gosh.
Want to say 2, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's it. So I think I'm still like midway through season 2. So I'm like, yeah, it's not a great season for me because I never finished it.
Have you seen Bebo yet?
Oh, I know about Bebo. Everyone knows about Bebo. I'm not sure when he was introduced.
Must be after you've watched them. So you
season
have
3, I think.
Is it only
like
season
the
3?
mid-season finale?
I might have known about Bebo because I did continue watching Flash for longer and like cameos in other places or something.
Well,
Because
I'm
I'm not sure. Like, but at least I know about like Giant Bebo, and it just like I have friends who are more up to date. So I even know about the Gorilla Grodd episode because I was in class with someone and she was like, "What did I just watch? Like, did I just see emerged a Flash?" Grodd, what the okay. So I was like, that sounds bonkers. I'm glad post-crisis is enjoyable for you.
I've enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. No, she wasn't that critical. She was just like, were they high? And that's sometimes a fair question on these shows.
I find the more people on TV time and Twitter say were the writers high, the more I'm going to enjoy the show.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that. Like, Doom Patrol is entirely like, were they high? They probably were high. It's fine, that's the show.
Or the entirety of Legion.
Oh, I've never gotten around to that, but that's one that I watch and I get high off of watching the show. Because I've seen, like, the pilot, and I was like, oh, fuck, this is gonna screw me up like Hannibal did. And I never got that much farther, and I need to, but it's, because it's, I know it's good, but, and I know it's up my alley, but, oh, God. It's gonna screw with me.
All right, we've got Matthew Salvatore asks, does the... Oh, wait, you know what? I never said my season.
Oh,
I think Legends season 2. I hated when Rip Hunter was a bad guy.
Oh, God, yeah. Tiresome.
I like that guy, and I just I don't want to see him in a limited capacity be a bad guy. Just take him away or give him to me full fledged. Anyway, Matthew Salvatore says, "Does the Green Lantern HBO Max show reduce our chances of getting a Green Lantern movie?"
No,
I hope the fuck not.
I think if it does well, it will for a while, but ultimately no.
Yeah.
But if it does badly, yes, we're not going to get it.
If we had ever once been told something was kept out of the movies because of television, I might be inclined to agree. But
it's always the other
of
way
today,
around.
we've never had something that we know where an actor or where a producer or someone has said, "Hey, we were going to do this, but they were doing it on TV, so we couldn't do it." So honestly, I don't. And the way DC, I feel like DC has been loosening up on some of that stuff the last couple years. So no, I don't.
Yeah.
I just think it's a function of HBO Max needs content. The movie will happen when the movie is ready. Now, they may be different Green Lanterns. They may be
Probably.
that. So if you had said, does the show reduce the chance of us seeing Hal Jordan on television? Yeah, because I think Hal Jordan's going to be in the movie. But I don't.
Fair.
I don't think Green Lantern as a concept theatrically is hurt because we're getting a TV show of it.
I only think it does if it does poorly, because then they'll have 2 points of data. You know, they'll be looking at Ryan Reynolds' movie and they'll be looking at this show and going, Green Lantern doesn't sell, it doesn't relate to people, let's not do it.
That would suck in every way. And I feel like I just hope that the show is actually gonna, because it's HBO Max and there should be a budget behind it, I feel like it better damn look like we're still getting a movie. Like it has to look better than Ryan Reynolds, you know? It's like I want that quality, or otherwise I'm just gonna be sort of frustrated because the powers require it a lot. So that's like the difficulty. So when I get it, I'm gonna know if I'm sad or not if this impacts the movies, but I doubt it. I doubt that's gonna change the plans going forward a lot.
You know, as far as
They must have planned for it.
As far as the CGI complaints in Green Lantern, I feel like that was a bit of a bandwagon bitch. Because I thought it looked fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine for its time. I'm just like, with the budget I expect from an HBO Max series, I expect it to be better in 2020. That's just like, right now we should be able to do better. So I don't expect like CW budget level of CGI in an HBO Max Green Lantern show. And I hope I'm right in that. But, you know, that's just sort of like, that would frustrate me slightly.
Yeah.
If we're going like, oh, let's not use our powers for the half of the episode just because, that's kind of expensive, isn't it? There's a lot of flying involved and stuff, so, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Any other answers to this?
I'm still holding out hope for Diggle to be in the HBO Green Lantern show.
That would be lovely.
I'm not even concentrating on the movies right now.
No, but it would be such a great way to connect these things and to feel like we've been building up to that instead of just teasing something that never came to fruition. So I'd love for that. And they've been teasing like, okay, there's something going on. They're in sort of talks, I guess, but like nothing concrete. It's just like, yeah, there's a future for Diggle, and I'm like, God damn it, just tell me.
All right. Stu Little says, don't know how you felt about Batman Ninja. Still haven't seen it. That's how I felt.
Same. I came halfway through it, and that's as far as I got, and I never finished.
Well, it's been made perfectly clear. Well, actually, it hasn't. I looked into it, and it turned out that there were two different versions, vastly different versions. One that was Japanese, that has a completely different script, and one that's American.
Oh, I need to see me the Japanese version now. I am very curious.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, now my brain just doesn't want to work, because I want to watch both, but I don't know Japanese, and I know, like I said, my sister-in-law lives in Japan, and she's fluent in Japanese, so she will show us anime
live
movies.
Translate. That's terrible. Don't make her do that.
Oh, I won't. But she has had us watch. We've sat down and watched animes with her, and she'll have the dubs on, not the dubs, the subtitles
subs
on,
and be like, "That's wrong."
And she'll pause it and be like, "That's not actually what they said. They said this and this and this." And it's just like, basically, I would have to like sit down and watch it with her so she could like pause it and be like, "That's bullshit."
That's amazing.
And
that's a luxury. Because I'm like that with, well, I live in the Netherlands. This is a country that's full of subs. We're not a dubbing country like France or Germany. It's all American TV shows are just subtitled. So but like there's a character limit. So sometimes subtitlers have to like make compromises, and I hate it. I cannot stand it because it's always like, well, they condensed 2 sentences, but now it doesn't quite make sense anymore, and it's not what they said, and it's very frustrating if you know both languages. And it's a challenge. It's a fun, because I'm interested in the translation master after I graduate, but like it's a challenge, but it's no one is going to be happy with your work ever. And sometimes there's just glaring errors where clearly the subtitler like misheard a word, and you're like, that's not what they said in English. That's absolutely not. I was watching Mars Attacks with a friend like recently, and there was like something like they heard subordinates, but it was coordinates, and you're like, that makes no sense within the context of the movie. Anyways, I'm getting really off track, but that's par for the course for the show.
Especially because they make those.
I feel like I'm at home.
Don't they do those from the scripts? They don't just sit there and listen and dictate what they write. They have the scripts.
They should, but I have recently, like I have at one time or another tried to apply for like the Netflix subtitler program where it's just like they hire amateurs, and which is a really sucky thing to do. But like given the marketplace for like actual professionals in this field, but I didn't get through or anything. But it was fun to like try and see the program and figure it out, but you get like the lines from the English subtitles basically for the deaf of hearing. I
guess to be fair, there are obviously changes that happen when they shoot and what's edited versus the script, but still you would think the script would be a guide. I don't know. You know,
but like the subordinates coordinates thing is just weird. That's just weird. That can't have been in the script.
Yeah. All right. So Stu asks, if another DC property got the Japanese creator anime treatment like that, which would you like to see? He would like Green Lantern Corps.
I can see that. It would be interesting, like what they would do with that in that style. I feel like that's a good choice. I'm thinking on something else if I can think of it.
What I generally like, I really love seeing foreign, or to me foreign, adaptations of comic books. And like I always thought it was interesting to see, Japanese Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
So what I would like to see is any foreign version of Superman. I want to see, instead of Kansas, give him wherever, and then have him go to a big city in a foreign country and have that story retold through their eyes.
Red Sun, just something else. Whoops.
Right.
I think I made a sound on the recording. I'll see if I can cut that out.
It's okay.
But no, that's. I forgot what I was saying. Fuck. Never mind. I shouldn't have drank that beer. Anyway.
All right. Who else?
I'd go with Green Lantern Corps, to be honest with you. I think that, especially if they're going in the same style as Batman Ninja, which I watched, it was okay. I laugh at the people that complain about the DC animated universe right now, and they're like, we want different change, and then Batman Ninja comes out and nobody cares. Like, all I see is people trash it. And I'm like, you just can't please you people, because I'm loving the current DC animated continuity.
Oh, definitely.
And it's going to pay off big time with the final movie in the continuity to wrap up the story. It's coming up soon now with Justice League Dark.
That's the final one?
Apocalypse War?
Is it final? Is it final?
Huh.
Oh, that's
final.
Oh,
man.
So that's crazy.
Well,
because I've been with
They're
this
like,
for
there's
a
no
while. Oh my god!
They were like, "There's no sequel. There's no." We
I
made
figured
this
it was
so
like
a
culmination of everything, but I was just like, I was expecting it to just move on after Apocalypse War. That's crazy. I'm looking forward to this, but still,
it's the end of an era. They put out a sneak peek to YouTube had the sneak peek today, which was 10 minutes long, and in those 10 minutes they said that it was the last one, the culmination, it was the ending of this
okay,
universe.
so it's like
they were
a sneak
building
peek
since
with producers and stuff?
Yeah, they show some things in there, like some
No,
clips,
okay, like
but not like a whole
10
lot of
minutes
stuff.
sounds
They've done
like
it for
that's more
everything.
spoilery than I want, but like it sounds safe to watch. Okay.
It was safe to watch, I thought.
Okay,
I
good.
didn't get spoiled. Really, actually, no, you will get a little spoiled, but
Hey,
enter at
can
your own
manage.
risk.
Okay, I'll remember that.
I keep
yeah,
buying
great.
them, but I haven't watched any Beyond War.
Really?
Yeah. We keep saying
You
we're
keep buying
gonna.
them?
Well, absolutely, because we keep saying we're gonna do them for the show, but then
I remember actually rewatching Justice League War just so I could review it with you, and that never happened.
that's right.
God damn it. That's been like a
Yep.
year.
Because it was some sort of miscommunication with Jason, and
Yeah.
we turned out it was something else we were doing. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
remember that now. Yeah.
I don't remember exactly
That
what
still
happened.
has to happen. I like this continuity a lot.
I don't follow it. I'm not a huge fan of the animated movies. I like some of them. I watched The Death and Return of Superman, and I mean Superboy #leg belt. I love that, but I'm not.
They're good, but they're
like,
not the best of the
I don't-
bunch.
I don't like watch every one and anticipate every single one. It's like, this one sounds cool. I'm going to check it out. And I don't know if it took place before the last one or after the last one that I checked out. Regarding Stu's question,
It's confusing just because you're like some of are interesting, but then they're not continuity, and you have to sort of follow that.
that's
But
easy because
I
the
think watching
continuity
the
looks the
continuity
same.
is worth it.
The continuity ones all look the same. It's like the same character design. So like that's not that
True.
hard to figure out. But like
Yeah, no, true.
I think Stu's idea of the Green Lantern Corps, that's probably what it would take to get me to watch it. I'm not an anime fan, so honestly, I saw the trailer for Batman Ninja, but I never even bothered with it, and I don't have any plans. I've listened to a review of it, but only because it was a show I listened to every episode of anyway.
You're not missing out on a whole lot, Brent.
So I've
That
heard.
seems to be the
For the Batman
consensus,
Ninja.
but I wouldn't even know, like, is this a good anime-inspired thing? Like, I couldn't tell you because I don't watch anime, so I couldn't even tell you, is this a good or representation of, like, anime, like, from an American concept, or is it just pure stereotypes? Like, I wouldn't even know.
Yeah, but also I know people who are into anime, and I'm like I would get into it, but I don't know where to start. There's so many. That's just opening up a whole new Pandora's box, and I've got like 3 open already. So that's just not gonna happen. But to answer the question, actually, I think like with all the speed lines and the anime style, I think Flash could be really interesting. But I think also, like, given the scale of Batman Ninja, I feel like there has to be a grander story or something, like, involving him. I think Flashpoint would be crazy in that style. Like, I wouldn't be able to follow it, but it would be, it's, like, impressive in a way. I'm just throwing out ideas now, but, yeah.
All right. Well, I think this is a good time to go to break.
Oh, yeah. Except
Here's
the
a-
break
here-
has already happened, and we're at the end of the episode, aren't we? Like, how does this work? Editing magic!
Okay, that's a good point. This is DC on Screen.
I'm glad you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna close out the episode. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Brent, tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at brentacPrime, and then I co-host Fans Without Borders and Marvel Squadcast. So check out both of those shows.
Effie.
I am at Remote Stealing on Twitter. I'm also at Effie with an extra E, Shensi, so inefficiency. The first one is the show, of course, Stealing the Remote. There's not a lot going on that feed, but that's just because of scheduling with my mom being gone to her boyfriend on weekends and me only being home with my mom on weekends. It's a difficulty. I'm looking for solutions. You'd say, like, if you're studying English, it'd be easier to find people who are willing to speak English with you with a mic in front of them, but no. But that's me.
All right, and Travis.
You can find me on Twitter at Travis_156, and I do a little solo podcast, superhero discussions, whenever I get a hankering to rant about something. I also join Greg and Nathan on a Super Civil Servants podcast. I want to make sure I get that right.
That's a hard one.
Tomorrow, the episode I'm on with Chris Belga of his World's Finest True Believers drops.
Nice.
So I want to plug that just to give Chris a little shout out. And also a thumbs up for Dave for his episode, The Superman for Tomorrow. I thought that was such a great episode, and I read the book right after listening to that. So that's usually the case when I listen to Chris's podcast and I haven't read the book. I immediately go to the book right after. So yeah, I'm doing Injustice Year 1. So it was such a great time. I had to plug
that's
it.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Good. I look forward to that.
Fantastic.
I enjoyed Injustice a great deal, and I haven't even finished the series.
So good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I keep meaning to get to it.
Highly recommended. Highly recommended.
One day.
Like all the things in my life. I'm trying.
I
All right,
tried.
DCOnscreen.com for every episode for free. And patreon.com/DCOnscreen if you want to become a patron and you want to hear a little more from me and these guys. And hopefully Jason will be okay with it, or his family will be okay, and he can come back next week. But thanks for listening. Until next time. Yeah.
See you later.
Until next
Bye.
time, keep some DC on your screen.
Shake that ass.
Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnscreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
A change of seasons means adventures in rain, shine, mist, or snow, or all of the above on the same day. This season, prepare for every season with the Allbirds Mizzle collection. With all-condition traction and materials and features to keep you comfy and dry no matter what, you'll be ready for anything. Go to allbirds.com and use code FRESHSOCKS for a free pair of socks with your purchase. ALLBIRDS.com, code FRESHSOCKS.
When I was diagnosed with cancer, it felt like my whole world came tumbling down.
Patient Advocate Foundation is here for you, providing free one-on-one practical support to patients with a cancer diagnosis. Call us at 800-532-5274. Patient Advocate Foundation can assist in navigating disability benefits and health insurance options. PAF also helps in accessing vital services, medications, and financial resources for both medical and household expenses. Visit patientadvocate.org or call 800-532-5274.